In the lively living room, the air is filled with the aroma of barbecue and the mellowness of red wine, and the laughter of relatives rises and falls like firecrackers. Shengyan wiped the sweat from her forehead and walked through the crowd carrying a plate of fruit salad. Her ponytail swayed in a neat arc under the light. "Uncle, please drink less, this wine has a strong aftertaste," she shouted to Lu Ting on the sofa, with helpless doting in her voice. Lu Ting's square face turned red. He slapped his thigh and a few drops of the liquid in the wine glass spilled onto the expensive carpet. "Yan, your uncle and I have traveled all over the world. What scene have we not seen? This little wine is nothing." He waved his hand, and the relatives around him echoed, and laughter came like a tide. "My uncle prides himself on being well informed, and he has always boasted about his magical anecdotes at gatherings since he was a child, which makes everyone's ears tingle." But tonight, his bullseyes were still scanning around, seemingly looking for the next opportunity to brag. In the corner, Bai Ning lowered her head and played with her mobile phone, her silver bangs covering half of her face. She occasionally raised her eyes scanning the crowd like a ghost, and the corners of her mouth were slightly raised, as if she was hiding some secret. No one paid attention to her. The mysterious cousin was always so low-key, like a shadow that did not belong to this noisy world. The doorbell rang, Xiao Yi and Jiang Chen pushed the door open, bringing in a cool night breeze. Xiao Yi grinned as soon as he walked in. He was holding an inconspicuous wooden box in his hand, and his eyes were as bright as a fox that had stolen honey. "Yan. Uncle. Hello everyone, I'm late," he shouted, his voice high-octave, attracting everyone's attention instantly. Shengyan rolled her eyes and came over to poke him in the head. "Xiao Yi, what are you doing? The fortune cookies you brought to the last party gave my aunt diarrhea all night long. Don't cause trouble this time." Her tone was full of complaints, but she couldn't hide the familiarity and intimacy of her childhood sweethearts. Jiang Chen followed behind, wearing a pair of glasses that pretended to be professional, and pushed it seriously. "Don't worry, Sister Sheng, Brother Xiao is a treasure found on the black market this time. The dream fireworks props are guaranteed to make the party tonight exciting." He patted his chest, and his voice sounded like a self-righteous expert, but it made the relatives around him whisper. Lu Ting narrowed his eyes, put down his wine glass, and waved domineeringly. "Boy, what kind of fireworks? Bring it to Uncle to see. Magic props? Lu Ting, was in the hidden world when I was young. What rare thing have I never seen? Last time I wore a flame ring, and it breathed fire and burned down half the warehouse." He blew spittle flying, and the relatives burst into laughter. Someone whispered, "Uncle has started again, he is so boastful." Xiao Yi danced with excitement. The wooden box opened with a snap, and inside lay a fist-sized crystal ball, with a dreamy blue light flowing on the surface and a faint sweet scent like candy. "Look! These are dream fireworks, allowing everyone to share a romantic dream show. Fireworks are set off in the sky, rainbows are flying all over the sky, it's so romantic. Uncle, you know your stuff, come on, I'll chant the spell to activate." He couldn't wait, his eyes were shining with the fanatical light unique to the unlucky man, and he didn't notice Shengyan's warning look at all. "Xiao Yi, are you sure? Where is the manual for the props? Don't use it wrong again." Shengyan grabbed his sleeve, her voice was urgent, and the light in the living room cast a long shadow on her worried face. "Oh, Yan, believe me. The boss of the black market said, just recite Dream Fire, Fantasy Sky, Share Celebration." Xiao Yi threw away his hand, took a deep breath, and read loudly, "Dream Fire, Fantasy Sky, Share Joy, Celebration. Wait, share the carnival? No, share the celebration." His mind was so hot that he misplaced the spell by half a note, but he didn't realize it. The crystal ball lit up with a buzzing sound, and blue light erupted like a tide, instantly engulfing the entire living room. "Ouch! What kind of ghost light is this? Lu Ting was the first to jump up, and the wine glass hit the ground with a harsh cracking sound. Relatives screamed, tables were knocked over, barbecue plates flew out, and sauces were spread all over the floor. The sweet scent in the air became pungent, like burnt marshmallows. Shengyan's eyes widened. Xiao Yi. You read it wrong. Bai Ning's pupils shrank slightly, and the phone fell to the ground, but she didn't pick it up, she just stared at the crystal ball. Jiang Chen was dumbfounded, and the hand pushing up his glasses froze in mid-air. Xiao, brother Xiao, is this a collective dream? Isn't it a one-person fireworks? The black market boss is lying. His voice trembled, and his face turned pale, as if he had seen a ghost. The world is spinning. His vision was distorted into a whirlpool, his ears were buzzing like thousands of fireworks exploding, and his nose was filled with the weird mixed smell of gunpowder and flowers. Xiao Yi felt his body falling, the wind whistling by, but floating softly. When everything stabilized and he opened his eyes, he was already in an illusory mansion, a magnificent hall, with crystal chandeliers pouring down like stars, colorful bubbles floating on the walls, and the ground was elastic like clouds when he stepped on it, making a popping sound with every step he took. Where is this? Xiao Yi rubbed his eyes and looked around. In the middle of the mansion, a group of people were lying limply on the ground. They were all relatives of the whole family. Everyone's real bodies are still in the living room, paralyzed like mud, and can be vaguely seen in the distance through the dream window, aunt snoring, cousin drooling. The scene is extremely embarrassing. Shengyan was the first to get up, her skirt was rumpled, and she stared at Xiao Yi with her hands on her hips. Xiao Yi. You are so unlucky. Why did you drag the whole family into a dream with the romantic fireworks that were promised? The prop manual must have written, don't miss the spell, otherwise there will be a collective illusion. Her voice was sharp, her cheeks were red with anger, and the surrounding bubbles popped around her, as if echoing her anger. Lu Ting suddenly sat up and his head hit the edge of the chandelier. There was a muffled, boom, sound. He rubbed his forehead and roared, Boy! Your uncle, I told you that magic props are dangerous things. You novice, you misread the spell and made us paralyzed. It's embarrassing. His beard was raised in anger, and his eyes were as wide as copper bells. Relatives around him got up one after another. Some were crying and some were giggling. Bai Ning stood up slowly, patted her skirt, and said in a calm but stinging voice, Cousin, you are so unreliable as a black market product. The fireworks in the dream should have been shared by one person, but now they are falling collectively, the boundaries are unstable, and they can collapse at any time. She glanced at the real body outside the window, and the corner of her mouth twitched. Uncle, your body is still hiccuping, you are not awake from the wine. Jiang Chen knelt on the ground and scurried away with his head in his arms. It's over, it's over. The black market boss said this is a low-level prop, as stable as a dog. Brother Xiao, what's the carnival in your spell? Has it turned into a collective carnival party? His voice was trembling, and beads of sweat rolled down his face, dripping on the cloud floor and, sizzling, evaporating. Xiao Yi scratched his head in embarrassment and blushed to the bottom of his ears. Well, I admit, I got into trouble. I didn't read the prop instructions carefully, and the black market boss said, just read it as you like. Who would have thought that if you miss even half a word, you will have a collective dream? He spoke softer and quieter, and the complaints from the relatives around him rained down like arrows. Unlucky Xiao Yi, he has never done anything since he was a child, a cousin screamed. My uncle told me a long time ago that novices should not touch magic. Now it's better. The whole family has become a vegetative state. Another uncle agreed. Shengyan was so angry that she stamped her feet, and the cloud floor bounced her half a meter high. You do this every time you have a party. Cookies last time, fireworks this time, will you summon a dragon to burn down the house next time? Lu Ting pointed at Xiao Yi's nose, Boy, crack it for me. Otherwise, my uncle will kick your real body away with his own hands. His roar shook the chandelier, and the colorful bubbles burst and rained down colorful fragments. Just when everyone was complaining to the climax, there was a loud boom in the sky. The dream dome cracked, and the magic fireworks exploded out of control. Countless rainbow beams shot out like missiles, exploding into pieces and flying everywhere. His vision was engulfed in brilliant light, his eardrums were ringing, and the smell of gunpowder mixed with the stench of burning caramel filled the air. The ceiling of the mansion collapsed, and debris fell like a meteor shower. Some people screamed and fled, and some were struck by colorful lights and became dizzy. Ha! The fireworks exploded. Jiang Chen scurried away and bumped into Bai Ning. She dodged lightly, but he fell into the bubble pile, and his face was covered with bubbles as he made a bop sound. Shengyan protected a child and stared wide-eyed. Xiao Yi, are these your fireworks? The sky is cracking. The dream is about to collapse. After the fragments scattered, they slowly gathered together. They twisted into a strange cloud, flashing red, blue and green lights, squirming like living creatures, and letting out a low, gurgling laughter. The clouds were huge, covering the sky and the sun, emitting heat waves and the smell of sweet smoke, and headed straight towards Lu Ting. Lu Ting was dumbfounded. He took a step back and slipped on the clouds. What kind of monster is this? Boy, did your fireworks eat up uncle? His voice trembled, and his usually domineering face showed panic for the first time. The relatives around him screamed and backed away, staring at the cloud with wide eyes. It opened its mouth, its rainbow teeth flashed, and rushed towards his uncle. Xiao Yi's heart tightened. Uncle, be careful. This cloud is going to swallow people. The cloud accelerated, the heat wave hit his face, and the uncle's beard was curled up. Lu Ting's roar stopped abruptly, and was replaced by the popping sound of bubbles coming from his body, which was like inferior firecrackers set off during the new year. His arm first swelled up, and his skin was covered with flashing red and blue fireworks lines. The lines twisted like a living snake and made a tiny, sizzling sound of electricity. The air was filled with a stronger smell of burning caramel, mixed with the lingering smell of alcohol on his uncle's body, making people feel sick in their stomachs. Relatives around them stared with their eyes wide open and their mouths opened in an O shape. When someone stepped back, they stepped on the cloud floor and bounced half a meter away with a pop sound. They fell to the ground and screamed one after another, "Uncle is going to explode. Run!" At the critical moment, a strange light erupted all over Lu Ting. His eyes widened and his roar changed in tone. No. Impossible. Uncle, After Yuntuan bit it, his body began to swell, and his skin flashed with fireworks patterns, and he was about to transform into some kind of monster. The whole place was dead silent, everyone had their mouths wide open and they even forgot to breathe. Shengyan murmured, "Uncle, is going to become the king of fireworks." Shengyan's ponytail whipped out in a sharp arc, and she pushed away the child who was protecting her. Her eyes widened, and her voice trembled but she pretended to be calm. "Uncle. Don't move. This fireworks cloud is poisonous and will mutate after one bite. Xiao Yi, why are you still standing there? Find a way." Her fingers pinched Xiao Yi's arm, and her nails dug into his flesh, making him gasp in pain, but her eyes were full of familiar helplessness. It happened again, this unlucky guy always does this. Xiao Yi's head was buzzing, and the excitement just now had been replaced by panic. He stared at his uncle's belly that gradually expanded into a balloon, and stammered, "Uncle, I originally wanted to show off a romantic fireworks celebration. The black market boss said that this crystal ball can make rainbow fireworks bloom in the sky, and everyone can share it. It's so fun to drink red wine and watch the stars at a dream party. Who knew that when I got excited, I added the word celebration to the spell and turned it into carnival, and ended up falling into a collective dream and summoning this man-eating monster." He continued to explain more quietly, his face turned red like a cooked shrimp, and the whispers of the relatives around him instantly exploded. Jiang Chen crawled out of the bubble pile, his face covered with sticky colorful bubbles, like an abstract mask. He pushed up his crooked glasses and tried to maintain his expert air. Don't panic, everyone. Sister Sheng, uncle, listen to me. I have a self-made magic app that can cure out-of-control dreams. His fingers quickly traced in mid-air, and the phone actually appeared in the dream, the screen flashed green, and the app interface popped up with dense rune options. Look, this is the Pyrotechnic Stabilizer version 2.0. I debugged it all night last night. Brother Xiao, give me the crystal ball and I will connect the connection to repair the energy flow. His voice was trembling with excitement, his eyes were bright, as if a hero had arrived, completely ignoring his uncle's body that was about to explode. You're a romantic. You do this at every party. Last time, the fortune cookies caused diarrhea, and this time the fireworks brought the whole family into a nightmare. A fat uncle stamped his feet angrily, and his chubby body bounced up on the cloud floor, and he fell into the bubble pile and rolled 3 times, causing laughter. His wife echoed in a sharp voice, yes, Xiao Yi, you are such an unlucky person. You have been showing off your skills since you were a child, and you are also the best at getting into trouble. My uncle has turned into a monster, and his body is still limp and hiccups in real life. It's so embarrassing. Shengyan rolled her eyes and said in a sharp voice, Jiang Chen, your best friend's assistant is so unreliable. Last time you sprayed that stable perfume you mentioned and made Xiao Yi grow horns. This time the app. The props are out of control, and you're going to use a big trick. But before she could finish her words, Jiang Chen had snatched the crystal ball from Xiao Yi's hand and pressed the emergency repair button on the app. In an instant, there was a loud, buzz sound, the surface of the crystal ball cracked, and blue light shot out like a laser, directly connecting to Jiang Chen's mobile phone. It's done. The energy flow is stable. Jiang Chen grinned. The relatives breathed a sigh of relief and narrowed their wide eyes slightly. The anticipation was fleeting. The next second, the walls of the mansion exploded with a boom. Colorful sparks shot out from the cracks in the wall like a fountain, red like flames, blue like ice arrows, and green with electric light, crackling and filling the entire hall. The smell of fireworks in the air was so strong that it choked the nose, like inhaling 10 kilograms of gunpowder. Everyone coughed again and again. Some people were hit by sparks, and their clothes instantly turned into flashing fireworks skirts. The hem of the skirt spontaneously ignited and extinguished with pop, making them roll on the floor in embarrassment. Ah! My hair is burnt. My cousin screamed, holding her smoking bangs and running around. Her footsteps burst countless bubbles, and the sound of bop was like background music, coupled with her embarrassed appearance, making the children next to her giggle. As soon as the fat uncle got up, he was hit in the butt by another purple spark. He bounced off with a bang and hit the crystal chandelier. The chandelier shook and scattered galaxy fragments, which hit him all over his head. He wailed, Jiang Chen, you are an expert. Repair this shit, is this a firecracker? Lu Ting's mutation process was interrupted by the sudden fireworks. His body expanded to the limit, and the lines of fireworks were pulsating like veins. He let out a low, gulu laugh, like a cloud possessing him. His beard was completely curled into a spiral shape, his eyes flashed with colorful lights, his usually domineering face was twisted into a funny firework face, and a small cluster of stars spewed out from his mouth when he opened it. Boys! You ruined my uncle. It was a great party, with red wine and barbecue, but now it's turned into a fireworks carnival. Xiao Yi, Jiang Chen, get here. He swept his arms, and the lines on his arms exploded, shooting out strings of fireworks, chasing Xiao Yi and the two of them. The heat wave hit their faces, and the air was distorted. Bai Ning had been standing low-key in the corner, her eyes twinkling under her silver bangs. She quietly stretched out her finger, flicked a ray of silver light, and murmured, stabilize the border. The silver light was woven into the fireworks cloud like silk threads, instantly suppressing some of the explosions. The sparks on the walls of the mansion weakened. Everyone was relieved and looked at her with wide eyes. "Cousin, do you know magic?" Bai Ning shrugged and said in a calm voice, "It's just a little trick." But her little magic unexpectedly enhanced the brightness of the fireworks. The clouds expanded in a circle, and the brightness was as dazzling as a spotlight. The fog around Uncle Lu Ting became thicker, and his body made a clicking joint sound. The mutation accelerated, and the skin began to crack, revealing the shining rainbow core inside. Xiao Yi ran away with his head in his arms, and explained in a funny way, "Uncle, don't be angry. These fireworks are actually quite romantic. You look like a living fireworks king now. You can make more money by selling tickets during the new year." The black market boss said the wrong spell to share the carnival. I thought it was a party mode, but it turned into a smoke bomb chasing people. The words triggered laughter. A cousin burst into laughter and yelled while avoiding the sparks, "Haha, Uncle is selling tickets." Lu Ting's fireworks show became famous overnight. "Xiao Yi, you have such a big idea." The relatives forgot their panic while laughing. Some imitated their uncles spraying stars and popping bubbles from their mouths. The scene was extremely absurd. The whole family fled in panic, and the hall turned into a chase battlefield. Relatives were screaming and laughing. Some people knocked over the tables and chairs in the dream world, and the imaginary barbecue on the table splashed with oil bubbles. Some people jumped into the bubble pile to escape, and the bubbles burst and sprayed colorful powder, and their faces were covered with abstract graffiti. The fat uncle shouted as he ran, "Uncle, what did you see when you were young? This fireworks monster is your grandson, right?" Lu Ting was so angry that he sprayed more stars and chased him and yelled, "Shut up. Uncle, I have traveled all over the country and I have never seen anything like this." But his footsteps had become staggering, and the lines of fireworks made each step drag out the tail of the fire. The heat wave bent the nearby walls, and the scene was as funny as a cartoon. "Bai Ning, your strengthening is not helping," Shengyan screamed, dragging the child back. Her skirt was soaked in the smell of fireworks and was sticky like syrup. Jiang Chen's app screen exploded with a pop, and he stared dumbly at the remains of his phone. "My version 2.0, the energy has backfired." Fireworks turned into fog bombs chasing people, and the whole family became a target. As he was talking, he was chased by a cloud of blue mist. The mist wrapped him up, and he instantly turned into a blue smoke man, coughing and rolling all over the ground. "Brother Xiao, help me. This mist smells like Uncle's alcohol and gunpowder." Xiao Yi pulled Shengyan to dodge a cloud of red mist, panting, Yen, believe me, this dream is unstable but there is an outlet. The core of the crystal ball is with my uncle, I have to get it back." Shengyan poked him in the head angrily, "Believe you? You always say you believe me, the result. The whole family is smelling of fireworks, the body is paralyzed and drooling, and the party turns into a disaster movie." Her comments were like a barrage, but she accidentally saved his life while dodging, and a green spark passed by and exploded with sizzling lightning. Jiang Chen finally rolled to Xiao Yi, and the blue mist dissipated. His face was pale and his voice was trembling. "Brother Xiao, the app is broken, but the black market boss has a backup spell." "Wait, no, this nightmare has escalated." Before he finished speaking, Lu Ting's mist suddenly surged and surrounded himself. His uncle's body completely glowed and mutated. Under the cracked skin, the rainbow core pulsated like a heart, his arms stretched like firework whips, and his eyes sprayed laser beams, sweeping across the entire place. "Ha ha ha. Boys, look how majestic I am now, Uncle." Lu Ting's voice was like thunder, wrapped in the smell of gunpowder, rough and mixed with popping bubbles, and the pyrotechnic whip with both arms made a hissing sound, hitting the illusory sofa. The sofa instantly turned into a pyrotechnic rocket, and whooshed up to the roof and exploded into a firework tree. "From now on, this dreamland is my uncle's kingdom. Party. Rule. Red wine and barbecue. It turns into a firework feast. You bastards, kneel down and worship me. As soon as he made the arrogant declaration, his steps staggered forward dragging the tail of the fire, and the cloud floor exploded with every step. The tables and chairs around him bounced off, and the barbecue oil splashed everywhere. The smell of burning caramel mixed with it filled the whole place, making everyone cough and bend over. The fat uncle had just crawled out of the bubble pile, his face covered with graffiti foam. Hearing these words, his round face turned red with anger. Uncle, you are a ruler. Just now, you were limp and burping and drooling. Now you have become the king of firecrackers and sold tickets. Uncle Fireworks Show, an overnight success. He taunted while hiding, but his foot slipped into the syrup pit. Gulu rolled out 3 meters and bumped into his cousin. The two fell into a ball like a stack of arhats, which made the children burst into laughter. Shengyan pulled Xiao Yi back, her ponytail flicking out beads of sweat. She stared at her uncle with wide eyes, her voice trembled but she gritted her teeth and complained, "My domineering uncle has become the king of firecrackers." Lu Ting, you traveled all over the country when you were young, did you see anything rare? This fireworks whip. Try it yourself. Her fingers pinched Xiao Yi's arm, and her nails dug deeper. He grinned in pain, but the helplessness in his eyes turned into despair. Xiao Yi, it's really over this time. Uncle's laser eyes turned the whole family into a barbecue. Relatives were screaming and laughing. Some imitated their uncle and sprayed stars, blew bubbles from their mouths, and ran and shouted, "Uncle King, spare your life. We will crown you a roast duck." The scene was extremely absurd, with spark fountains cracking on the walls of the hall, red flames like tornadoes, blue arrows whooshing, green electric lights jumping, sizzling, the heat wave mixed with the smell of alcohol and gunpowder, like inhaling inferior fireworks. Jiang Chen's blue mist had just dissipated and his face was sticky. He pushed up his crooked glasses with a trembling voice, "Brother Xiao, uncle has upgraded to king mode. The remains of my app. Wait a minute, this fragment is still usable." He picked up the phone and exploded it into pieces. The runes were still flashing slightly, and he was panicked in excitement. Xiao Yi's head was buzzing, his uncle's firework whip hissed, and the hot wind scraped his face like a knife. He pushed Shengyan away, held his head and rolled into the bubble pile. He exploded the colored powder to protect his body. When he got up in embarrassment, his face was covered with abstract graffiti, as if he was wearing a funny prop mask. The eyes of the relatives around him widened, and the fat uncle crawled out from the pile of arhats with bulging round eyes. "Xiao Yi, you are so unlucky, why don't you solve it quickly? The whole family is a target, and the king of fireworks you show off is your uncle." My cousin covered her burnt bangs and screamed in agreement, "Yes. I had diarrhea last time with biscuits." "Son, this time you dragged the whole family into a nightmare, and your uncle turns into a monster. Go ahead and sell tickets with your imagination." The ridicule was like a rain of arrows, which made Xiao Yi breathless. His heart sank. It's over, this party is really a disaster movie. The borders of the dream world cracked, and the cracks flashed with blue light, as if they were about to swallow people. "Shut up. What do you know? This is my romantic fireworks celebration." Xiao Yi stood up angrily, and with a flash of imagination, he saw a crack in the crystal ball and the blue light was directly connected to the core of his uncle's rainbow. He gritted his teeth and shouted, "Jiang Chen, give me the fragments. Let's join forces to fight back. Uncle's weakness is at the core, blow up his beard." Jiang Chen's eyes lit up, and Dayuti come to the app fragment, "Brother Xiao is wise. This rune is connected with crystal energy and can backfire." Xiao Yi did not follow the common sense, grabbed the fragment, pressed it on his forehead, and murmured a variation of the black market spell, "Dream Fire Fantasy Sky, Reverse Carnival." The fragment buzzed brightly, and the blue light reflected like a laser, directly hitting his uncle's pyrotechnic crown. Buzz, boom. A series of explosions broke out. The uncle's crown exploded, sparks rained back on his face, the spiral beard burned into small curls, the laser eyes short-circuited and sprayed out rainbow bubbles. The pyrotechnic whip was deflected and hit the wall, exploding the pyrotechnic portal. The walls of the mansion turned into a maze, with countless pyrotechnic vines sprouting from the cracks in the wall. Red and blue fire snakes twisted and hissed in pursuit of people. Clouds on the floor bounced off tables and chairs, and barbecue fragments flew around like cannonballs. The relatives' eyes widened and their mouths opened in an O shape. The fat uncle's round body was entangled in vines. He bounced half a circle with "ouch" and fell into a pile of fire snakes. His clothes spontaneously ignited and extinguished with a pop, and he was covered in soot like a panda. Oh my God! Xiao Yi's move, uncle's beard exploded. But what about the maze? Shengyan's ponytail flicked, and she ducked to protect the child. She stared at the scene of the explosion with her round eyes, her voice trembling. Xiao Yi, are you crazy? The counterattack turned into a series of explosions, and the wall came alive. Uncle Firecracker King is still chasing. Uncle Lu Ting roared in pain, the pulse of the rainbow core accelerated, the body expanded in a circle, and the whip arm whipped wildly. Boy! Dare to blow up Uncle's crown. Become a firework pig for me. But his steps were even more staggering, and the fire tail dragged out long smoke trails, which looked funny like a cartoon chimney. Bai Ning flashed out from the corner, her eyes flashed under her silver bangs, she flicked her fingers and murmured, "Water mist counterattack." The silver light weaved a web, summoning dreamland water mist like a tornado. The blue and white mist hissed and collided with the fire snake, the wall vines sizzled, evaporated, and the smell of water vapor mixed with fireworks turned into a sweet marshmallow scent, suppressing some explosions. The relatives breathed a sigh of relief and stared at Bai Ning, my cousin's magic. The water mist extinguished the fire. But Bai Ning's little magic was not helpful again. The water mist met the fire snake and boomed, and evaporated into a huge steam cloud. Uncle Firework King took a breath and, sprayed out a mixture of water and fire mist bombs, chasing the whole family like a game of smoke bombs. The hall turned into a steam battlefield, the vision was blurred, and the hearing was full of pop-pop explosions and golu blisters. Not to be outdone, Jiang Chen picked up another app fragment, pushed up his glasses and shouted, "My rescue magic. Steady fireworks show." He swiped with his fingers, and the runes popped out, but they were misplaced in funny mode. The fragments popped and sprayed out a rainbow fireworks show, straight into his uncle's face. The relatives all froze, their eyes widened, and they forgot to even scream. Shengyan murmured, "Uncle has completely turned into the king of fireworks. Now, the dream is really going to collapse." Yun Tuan laughed louder, the heat wave swept up everyone, and the vision was distorted again. Lu Ting's pyrotechnic king's body shook with a boom. The rainbow core under his cracked skin pulsated like a racing heart. The heat wave hit his face like a furnace, twisting the air into ripples. A gorgeous crown suddenly exploded above the head, and colorful fireworks swirled like a crown. Red, blue, and green lights intertwined with popping sounds, and sparks rained down, so hot that the clouds on the floor sizzled and melted into a puddle of syrup. Boom! Heart-shaped fireworks exploded on the uncle's face, boo, turned into a funny crown, the laser eye short-circuited and sprayed heart-shaped bubbles, the whip arm hit him, ouch, bounced into the wall, and the vines of the wall maze wrapped around his legs. The uncle rolled to the ground in a panic, spraying stars and turning into raindrops all over himself. Relatives burst into laughter. My cousin covered her bangs and hid while shouting, "Jiang Chen's fireworks show is amazing. Uncle has become the king of couples parties, ha ha ha." The fat uncle's round eyes bulged and he jumped out of the steam cloud. "Expert, you misplaced the festive mode. My uncle is now like a New Year dragon boat, spraying water and fire." Seeing the opportunity, Xiao Yi knew that his uncle's weakness was exposed. The core of the rainbow flickered unstable. He used his imagination to take advantage of his bad luck. "Uncle, come after me. Your fireworks king is no match for my unlucky halo. He deliberately tripped, rolled under his uncle's feet, and hit the tail of the fire. His buttocks bounced up and hit his uncle's belly. The unlucky energy is like a magnet, attracting surrounding fireworks fragments and, buzzing, them into the core. The uncle roared, his body shook violently, his core imploded with a boom, the fireworks lines flowed backwards, the crown whip arm shrank, and the last sparks were sprayed out with a pop. The whole family froze, staring at their uncle with wide eyes, the cracked skin healed, the rainbow core shrank dimly into the shape of a crystal ball, rolled out of his mouth and rolled to Xiao Yi's feet. Lu Ting collapsed to the ground, his spiral beard straightened up, and he spat out the last star. His voice was hoarse, "Boy, uncle, I will spare you for now." His eyes rolled white and he returned to his original shape, but he was full of cigarette ash and alcohol, looking as funny as a bear that had been exploded by firecrackers. Sheng Yinyuan's eyes flashed with tears and she trembled, "Uncle, he has changed back. Xiao Yi, you are so unlucky, that you actually blew up your weak point." The relatives burst into laughter, and the fat uncle's round face convulsed. He patted the cigarette ashes and yelled, "Ha ha ha. The king of fireworks has fallen. Xiao Yi, you didn't follow the rules and tripped and hit your belly. This is a magic trick." My cousin laughed, covered her bangs and imitated her uncle's spraying bubbles. "Uncle Wang, go sell tickets. Just now. He just ruled the dreamland, and now he is limp and burping." Jiang Chen pushed up his glasses, his eyes shining brightly. "Brother Xiao is invincible. My fireworks show is perfect for you." Bai Ning shrugged, the silver light disappeared, and the corner of his mouth raised slightly. "It's just a small victory." The whole family laughed and celebrated, huddled together, and the steam cloud dissipated, revealing the mess all over the floor, the maze of wall vines shriveled, the syrup pits on the floor bubbling, and the lingering sweet smell of fireworks in the air. Xiao Yi picked up the crystal ball and grinned, "Look, the romantic fireworks celebration is a success. Uncle, you are a legend now." Before he could finish his words, the dream suddenly shook. Crack, click, click dash, the crack expanded, the blue light skyrocketed, and a strange nightmare monster sprang out from it, a writhing bubble-eyed monster, with eyes rolling like balloons, gulu, and its mouth sprayed rainbow slime, rushing towards everyone. The bubble-eyed monster, Gulu Gulu, rolls its big balloon-like eyes, and rainbow slime spurts out from its mouth. It's like an overdose of a jelly machine that went out of control. The sticky liquid splashed and hit the floor. The clouds exploded with a pop and burst into a rain of colorful bubbles. The pungent sweet syrup smell instantly overwhelmed the aftertaste of the fireworks. The laughter of the relatives who had just breathed a sigh of relief suddenly stopped and turned into screams. Some people were covered in mucus on their faces. They slipped and fell on top of each other with a "wow" sound. Fat uncle's chubby body bore the brunt. The slime-covered legs, Gulu, rolled out 5 meters and hit the leg of the table. His face was covered with rainbow stripes like an abstract painter, monster. Those eyes are so glaring that I panic. Xiao Yi, what kind of ghost thing did you summon from the black market? The whole family is a jelly target? Sheng Yan shook her sweat from her ponytail. She grabbed the children and backed away, staring at the monster with wide round eyes. Her voice was trembling and crying, "Xiao Yi. Don't take the crystal ball, deal with this bubble monster first. Uncle, don't brag even if you are paralyzed. Get up and block it." Her fingers pinched Xiao Yi's arm tightly, and her nails were embedded in her flesh. Lu Ting collapsed on the ground, covered with soot and shaking off the dust. He roared hoarsely, "You bastards, uncle, I just recovered. This monster is your fault. When I was young, I single-handedly challenged a pack of nightmare wolves." Before he could finish his words, the monster's eyes, Gulu, locked on him, a ball of mucus, swooshed, shot out, stuck in the spiral beard and sizzled and bubbled. Uncle, cough, sprayed rainbow foam, rolled away in a panic, and the grizzly bear's body was funny like a meatball covered with jam. Jiang Chen pushed up his crooked glasses, his face covered with sticky blue mist residue. He picked up the app fragments and scratched them with his fingers, his voice trembling. Brother Xiao. I still have a trace of my runes, try the anti-stick magic. The runes buzzed brightly, but they were mistakenly sprayed with bubble enhancer, and went straight into the monster's eyes. The bubble eyes instantly expanded 3 times. Sticking on the rainbow silk, ouch, bounced to the ceiling, and when he fell, he sprayed out a string of bubbles to imitate his uncle, Uncle Wolves. These bubble wolves are chasing the whole family, let's sell tickets. The rain of taunting arrows made Xiao Yi's head buzz, and his heart sank. Uncle Wang just fell, new monsters came, the cracks in the dream widened, the blue light scratched the air like sharp claws, the smell of heat wave mixed with syrup filled the nose. It was over, the whole family was really going to turn into a jelly party. Her white silver bangs flashed slightly as she sprang out from the edge of the steam cloud, murmuring, the weak point of slime is heat. Flicking her fingers, the silver light weaved into a fine network, summoning the pinpoint hot stream, hissed, and evaporated the slime at the edge, but the monster's eyes widened, the bubbles surged and backfired, and the silver net melted into drops of syrup. She took a small step back and twitched the corners of her mouth. It's but a disservice. The relative's eyes widened, and the fat uncle crawled out from the jelly pile with bulging eyes. He roared, cousin, steaming bubbles. The monster has turned into a giant balloon. Xiao Yi, you unlucky king, show off your props and summon disaster for the whole family. This party has turned into a horror comedy. The atmosphere of despair was as sticky as slime, cold sweat dripped from Xiao Yi's forehead, and the crystal ball pulsated with blue light in his palm, like a black market mind mocking him. Don't panic. Look at my unlucky trick. Xiao Yi did not follow common sense, and with a flash of imagination, he deliberately let go, and the crystal ball, Golu, rolled towards the monster's feet. At the same time, he tripped over his own feet and fell into the slime pit. Golu bounced up and hit the bubble eye. The unlucky energy is absorbed like a black hole, and the rainbow slime flows back into the crystal ball. The monster's eyes shrink sharply and pop small bubbles, spewing out the last harmless colored powder rain, which collapses into a puddle of rainbow jelly, rolls into the cracks and disappears. The dream shook with a boom, the cracks healed, the blue light dimmed, the mansion hall stabilized, the steam cloud dissipated, revealing the messy syrup pits and ash piles on the floor, and the sweet air was mixed with the aftertaste of caramel. The whole family froze, staring at Xiao Yi with wide eyes. He crawled out of the jelly pile, with rainbow stripes all over his body like a moving graffiti board, grinning and gasping, look. Bubble Ghost can't stop my halo of bad luck. Shengyan's round eyes flashed with tears, and she let go of his arm and trembled. Xiao Yi, you tripped to save me again. The monster jelly melted. But this crystal ball, there is definitely something evil. The fat uncle's round face cramped, and he jumped out of the ash pile with bulging round eyes. Laughing, ha ha ha. Unlucky magic. I stumbled and hit my eye, and the bubble burst. Boy, you will definitely become popular by selling tickets, unlucky jelly show. My cousin covered her bangs and poked her uncle's grizzly bear belly while laughing. Uncle, you were bragging in the wolf pack, and now you are in the jelly wolf pack. The whole family worshipped Xiao Yi. The children clucked, chasing the colorful powder rain. Jiang Chen pushed up his glasses and his eyes sparkled. Brother Xiao is invincible. My bubble increase matches your bad luck, perfect combo. Lu Ting got up with a heavy gasp, shook off his ash and straightened his beard. He patted his belly and complained arrogantly, "Ha, uncle, I have recovered. What does this little monster mean? When I was young, I once challenged." His fingers made random gestures and accidentally touched a crystal shard on the ground. There was a buzz, and local fireworks rekindled. The fragment sprayed out a mini firework whip, hit his butt with a hiss, bounced half a circle with an ouch, hit the sofa, turned into a rocket, and flew to the ceiling with a whoosh and exploded into a small firework tree. The relatives screamed and fled again, laughing all around. The fat uncle dodged away, running and shouting, "Uncle is seriously ill." The fragments cannot be touched, and the fireworks resumed to sell tickets. Shengyan swung her ponytail, grabbed Xiao Yi and backed away, and laughed angrily, "Uncle, you are still bragging?" It lasted for 2 seconds and then exploded. "Everyone, listen to me, stop making trouble, and organize to find out the truth about this prop." After the dream stabilized, Shengyan wiped her sweat and directed the whole family to form a circle. She flicked her ponytail and scanned the messy hall with her round eyes. "Give me the crystal ball." "Uncle, don't touch it. Xiao Yi talks about the details of the black market. Jiang Chen checks the fragments of your app, Bai Ning, you devil. You can't see the cracks." Her voice changed from trembling to firm, commanding like a party queen. The relatives nodded, and the fat uncle's round face was still cramped. "Yes." Uncle Fireworks turned into a grizzly bear, and the jelly eyes chased the whole family. "This prop is cursed." With lingering fear, he handed over the crystal ball and recalled the black market transaction. The old man smiled sinisterly when he was selling, and said, "Romantic fireworks celebration, magnify your wishes." I was so imaginative that I thought it was a magical tool for parties, and I was right to use it to magnify desires. "Uncle, you are arrogant and want to dominate. He'll become the king of firecrackers." He imitated the old man's sinister smile, and twisted his mouth, hee, making the child burst into laughter. His cousin poked him in the rainbow face, "Unlucky guy from the black market. Uncle rules the dream, you are unlucky to summon monsters." Jiang Chen picked up the fragments of the app, pushed up his glasses and complained to himself, "My dark history as an expert. I wanted to be stable, but I mistakenly magnified my uncle's fireworks, which turned into a festive show and exploded my face. This app is connected to the core of the dream, and displays the curse record, misused to amplify the user's desires. My uncle's arrogance exploded. Shed, my expert is addicted. Bai Ning, you are hiding magic." He traced the runes with his fingers, and the crystal ball, buzzed, projected a blue light record, and the twisted runes emerged, a red desire vortex pattern, pulsating like a heartbeat, the air humming with whispers of amplification, carnival, collapse. The relatives' eyes widened, and the fat uncle's round eyes bulged. "Oh my God." The records show that the whole family's desires were mixed in, and the party turned into a carnival. "Jiang Chen, you are an expert in magnifying the disaster, selling tickets to plead guilty." Jiang Chen blushed and pushed the mirror. "I, at least showed off the heart-shaped crown." Bai Ningyin's bangs were hanging low. She stepped forward and touched the ball with her fingers. The silver light penetrated into the runes and revealed in a calm voice, "I am a magic enhancer, a hidden sect in the black market circle, which can temporarily delay the collapse. The crystal comes from the higher-level dream black market, and is connected to the family's desire network by mistake. The uncle's arrogance, Xiao Yi's antics, and Jiang Chen's expert addiction, all amplify. The cracks are temporarily suspended, but the core curse needs to be broken by the resonance of the whole family. Her silver light is like a silk thread weaving a web, the blue light record is stable, and the runes are slowly translated into text, resonate with your wishes and reverse the carnival." Shengyan's round eyes lit up, and she teamed up with Bai Ning to interpret. She shook her ponytail and said, "The whole family resonates. Like singing in a KTV? Uncle, you are so proud to sing first, don't accidentally touch it." Bai Ning nodded, the corner of his mouth raised slightly. "Yes, the family's wishes gather together and reverse the whirlpool of desire." During the series of misunderstandings, Xiao Yi opened his mind again and imitated the king of fireworks in a funny way. He grabbed the ash pile, shook off the gray rain and sprayed stars, puff, curled up his spiral beard with his fingers, and roared hoarsely, "Uncle King rules." The bastard kneels down to worship the fireworks feast. He twisted his butt and pretended to drag the tail of the fire, hissing, to suck the air. As a result, Gulu rolled out of the syrup pit, and bumped into the fat uncle and the two people on top of each other spraying colored powder. The whole family laughed, and the fat uncle's round face turned red and pushed him, "Ha ha ha." Xiao Yi's imitation is perfect. Uncle, look at your opponent, the grisly version of the king of fireworks. Lu Ting laughed angrily and patted his belly. You imitate your uncle. But your unlucky fall is even more ridiculous. The cousin laughed. He imitated spraying bubbles, dominate the dreamland. The whole family KTV resonates, uncle sings solo first. The children follow the trend and blow bubbles with puff puff, the hall laughs like an escalating party, and the smell of sweet syrup fireworks is filled with the buzz of joy. Shengyan wiped her tears and smiled, and Bai Ning continued to interpret. The runes say that resonance requires the synchronization of everyone's wishes to reverse the whirlpool and return to the original state. The uncle turned from arrogance to gentleness, Xiao Yi became funny and romantic, Jiang Chen became an expert and became an assistant. Bai Ning's silver light accelerated, the runes buzzed in response, and the blue light projected the family's desire map, uncle's crown. Xiao Yi's brain exploded, and Jiang Chen's runes flew around, gathering into a pulsating ball of light. The whole family gathered around, and Shengyan took the lead. Everyone close your eyes, we want to have a happy party. Uncle, don't be arrogant, we want to share barbecue. Lu Ting hummed and closed his eyes, and the fat uncle narrowed his round eyes. Try, resonance KTV. In the laughter, the light ball gradually brightened, the vortex reversed and the gulu shrank, the boundary of the dreamland was firm, and the air was fresh and smelled of wine and barbecue. Just as the whole family was relieved and ready to sing together, there was a loud boom outside the dream. A black shadow emerged from the edge of the crack, and a purple-robed figure floated. The voice under the mask was as cold as ice needles. Black market fireworks crystal, opened the door by mistake, and advanced dreams invaded. Boys, this prop belongs to me, the Family Desire Network, take it all. The sleeves of the purple robe waved, and the purple mist hissed like tentacles to grab the crystal ball. The heat wave returned, and the vision was distorted into a purple-black vortex. The new challenge hit like a thunder. Shengyan screamed, invaders. Higher-level black marketeers. The relative's eyes widened, and the fat uncle jumped up, oh my god. Sell tickets to upgrade, and the mysterious boss grabs props. The purple mist squirmed like a living snake, and the blue light pulsing around the crystal ball dimmed instantly. The heat wave mixed with the pungent sulfur smell hit the face, like burnt popcorn mixed with rotten grapes. The ceiling in the hall of the dream mansion cracked, and the purple-black vortex swallowed the corners. The eyes of relatives who had just closed suddenly opened wide, and screams were like a series of firecrackers exploding. The fat uncle's chubby body bounced up half a meter, his grizzly bear belly trembled, and his round eyes stared at the purple-robed figure. Damn it. Black market boss. Selling tickets to upgrade horror movies, this purple mist catches the ball. Uncle, I just stabilized and wanted another rocket. Shengyan's ponytail shook beads of sweat, she firmly protected the circle of children. Round his eyes widened and he screamed, get out, intruder. The crystal is ours. Are you doing bad things at this dream party? Xiao Yi is about to think of something, stop thinking. His fingers pinched Xiao Yi's arm again, and his nails were embedded in the rainbow-striped flesh. He grimaced in pain, and his vision was distorted by the purple mist into a ghostly kaleidoscope. Lu Ting stood still with a heavy breath, his ash beard straightened up and shook off the ash. He slapped his belly and shouted, little Zipeo, my uncle once fought against a pack of nightmare wolves when he was young. What does this mean? Look at me smashing your mask. He waved his thick arms and rushed forward, but Gulu leaned forward as his feet slipped in the syrup pit, and the purple mist tentacle hit his butt with a pop, and it was as hot as chili oil scalding meat. He bounced and hit the sofa with an ouch, and the grizzly bear's body rolled and spewed out a rain of smoke, looking as embarrassed as a roasted meatball on a rolling plate. Jiang Chen pushed up his glasses and scratched the fragments of the app with his fingers, his voice trembling, Brother Xiao. Purple mist is a high-level rune, I am an expert in rescue. The rune buzzed brightly, but it was mistakenly sprayed into a colorful ball of light, which went straight into the purple robe. A sinister smile echoed under the intruder's mask. "Stupid boy, you used magnification by mistake. Happy?" The light ball exploded with disco beams, the music roared, and the floor of the hall flashed with colors. The relatives stepped on each other and screamed, "Expert Jiang Chen is making trouble again. Are the intruders coming to dance?" Bai Ningyin's bangs flashed low, and she flicked the silver light net with her fingers to block the tentacles. Her voice was calm and twitching, strength and defense. The silver net hissed as the purple mist evaporated, but accidentally inhaled the intruder's energy. 2 fireworks elves sprang out of the net. Pink the little red man, with his wings spraying sparks, puff, opens his mouth and sings an insult song. "Arrogant Uncle Rocket Bear, flying grizzly bear is a cute dream. Unlucky boy with rainbow face, tripping magic skill jelly spray." The singing voice is as sweet as exploding marshmallows. The harsh reverberation was mixed with the popcorn. The relatives covered their heads and covered their ears, and the fat uncle's round eyes bulged. "The elf insults my uncle. Bai Ning, you are turning into a singing star group. This song is more poisonous than a pack of wolves. Sell the ticket KTV version." The whole family was stunned. Looking over the top, the purple mist expands and swallows half of the hall. The heat wave chokes the nose, the cracks click like animal claws tearing the air. Xiao Yi's forehead is dripping with cold sweat, and his heart sinks to the bottom. The resonance is just bright. The invader army is coming. It's over. The party has turned into a black market slaughterhouse. The purple-robed figure floated higher, the cracks in the mask glowed purple, and the cold voice was like an ice needle pricking the brain. "I am the original owner of the black market. This fireworks crystal and the family's desire network belong to me. Legion, happy invasion." With a wave of his sleeves, the cracks spurted out the explosive dwarf army, short green skins, with fire tails hissing on their butts, dong-dong dancing like street rock. The bomb belt flashed red, and small fireworks exploded with every step, and the smell of caramel sulfur rose to the sky. The dwarves twisted their waists, hey, whipped the air with fire tail whips and snapped, and went straight to the crystal ball. Shengyan pulled the child back, waving her ponytail wildly and her eyes flashing with tears. "Dwarf dance group. Weird Legion bombing site, this is the prop's cursed phantom. Xiao Yi, are you a black market product to summon the gang?" "Uncle, don't rush, the grizzly rocket is upgraded." Lu Ting jumped up from the sofa and roared hoarsely, "Phantom." Uncle smashed it. He rushed forward arrogantly, but was stumbled and rolled to the ground by the leader of the dwarf. The dwarf's fire tail hissed and spit out fire, and his uncle's beard sizzled and bubbled. He coughed and puffed out purple smoke. He rolled embarrassedly and bumped into the fat uncle. The 2 grizzly bears stacked on top of each other and sprayed sparks. "Wolves. This dwarf wolf pack chases uncle and sells tickets for the 2-bear show." Xiao Yi's imagination was unconventional. He opened his rainbow eyes and mistakenly thought he was an ally. He grinned, "Hey. Invasion brother, the fireworks party is upgraded. Come and dance together, my unlucky dance steps are invincible." He deliberately tripped over the syrup pit and fell out. He twisted his but with rainbow stripes to imitate a dwarf. His fire tail pumped the air with his hand and hit the leading dwarf. The black hole of unlucky energy gathered, and the gulu of the dwarf's fire tail flowed backwards into his palm, and the explosive belt, bo, collapsed into a pile of colored powder. The dwarf legion's eyes widened and they all said, "Wow," and retreated, singing tremblingly. The unlucky dancer stumbled and sucked the fire. The relatives froze, Shengyan's round eyes bulged, and she let go of her arms and trembled. "Xiao Yi, are you crazy? You mistakenly recognized your allies to dance together." The dwarves retreated. But the elf still sings insults. The fat uncle crawled out of the pile, his round face twitching and laughing. "Ha!" The dwarf sucked the tail, and the army was dumbfounded. The boy sold tickets for the Rainbow Dance King double show. Seeing the opportunity, Jiang Chen pushed up his glasses and shouted excitedly, "Perfect combo. My disco rescue." The fragment of the app buzzed, the runes sprayed out colorful lights, directly hitting the elves, but the song was amplified into a disco mix. Uncle Rocket breathes fire bear, unlucky boy jelly spray. Expert Jiang Chen has a dark history, and the bubbles enhance the cuteness. The music, dong dong, shook the floor, the elf wings sprayed disco sparks, puff, they jumped on the dwarf corpses to dance together, the legions fought each other in a melee, and the purple mist tentacles twitched and shrank. The silver light of Bai Ning was woven again, and the defense net was hissed to protect the army, but the elves accidentally sucked the silver light, and the song escalated and insulted the whole family. Shengyan is a sweaty queen with a ponytail, dragging people to protect short-sighted laughter king. Bai Ningyin is hot and steamy, and it is not helping the dream of a singer. The corner of her mouth twitched. He retreated slightly, his silver bangs flashing wildly. It's backlashed again. The relative's eyes widened, and the fat uncle's round eyes sparkled. The disco army exploded. Jiang Chen, an expert in black history, turned into a god to assist, and Bai Ning's star network laughed to death. This phantom army is fighting among themselves and selling tickets. Shengyan took the lead in the counterattack with an angry smile. She flicked her ponytail and scanned the whole family with her round eyes. Don't just look at it. On the family story, this is a phantom of a prop. Use our oolong stalks to smash it. She grabbed the ash pile and imitated her uncle's grizzly bear roar. Since my uncle Rocket Bear, he has become a phantom of a wolf pack. Dwarf trip. Hui Yu puffed out his purple robe. After hearing this, his uncle gasped and laughed, clapped his belly and joined in. You bastards, look at uncle, what a pack of wolves. He shook his beard and sprayed the remaining cigarette ash, and licked the elf's wings. The elf screamed and fell to the ground. Xiao Yi's imagination continued, and the pit of molten syrup bounced up, and the rainbow face twisted to imitate the purple robe. The original owner of the black market has a sinister smile, and the legion summons internal strife. The air was pumped with his hand and, pop, the unlucky wave spread like ripples, and the remains of the dwarf, Gulu, rolled towards the stack of elves and exploded the colored powder. Jiang Chen pushed the mirror and complained about himself. Expert bubble enhancement, disco insult song, perfect. He drew runes with his fingers and projected family memes, Uncle Rocket, Bai Ninger steaming, Xiao Yi tripping, all smashed into purple mist and evaporated with a buzz. Lu Ting was arrogant and changed the bond. He pulled Xiao Yi up with his thick arms, and smiled with a trembling beard. You guys are so good at dancing together. My uncle recognized you as an unlucky partner. When I was young, I dueled. Hey, let's join forces. Xiao Yi grinned and patted his belly. Pi, Uncle Wang, Rocket but is invincible. I'll treat you to the black market next time. Shengyan's round eyes shone warmly, and she pulled Bai Ning's silver hand. My cousin's defense network burst out laughing, and we joined forces to fight back, and the sister's resonance has been upgraded. Bai Ning's lips raised slightly. Silver light stable rune, family stock, is stronger than high magic. Jiang Chen excitedly hugged the app. Expert black history comes to the rescue. The foursome is invincible. The whole family gathered around, laughing and laughing. The purple robe army retreated. The pyrotechnic elves and dwarves, wow, ran through the cracks, and the purple mist tentacles retracted, hissing. The dream hall was stable. The air returned to the sweet smell of barbecue, but the cracks in the floor hummed and expanded, and the blue light crystal ball pulsed wildly, whispering, collapse is near. The relatives laughed with relief, and the fat uncle hugged his belly. The counterattack of the meme is victorious. The disco show between the Legion and the family version of the black market war for selling tickets. The cousin laughed and poked her uncle angrily. Uncle, the wolf pack has turned into the king of meme. The family bond is invincible. The children clucked, chasing the colorful powder. Shengyan wiped her sweat and commanded, it is stable, but the invasion is intensifying and unstable, and the resonance is accelerating. Uncle, don't be arrogant, Bai Ningcha runes. Before the voice fell, the purple robe mask cracked and the sinister smile escalated. It's just a trick. The ultimate firework beast, swallow the core of desire. The crack exploded with purple flames, and a giant beast sprang out. The firework beast had a crown on its head, its tail dragged a nuclear explosion and the fire tail hissed, its eyes were locked on the crystal ball, and the beast's claws, bang, hit the core of the family. The heat wave was like the prelude of a nuclear explosion, the boundary of the dreamland shook violently, Kaka, a new crisis. The pyrotechnic beast's crown buzzed with pulsating purple flames, and its giant claws, bang, hit the core of the hall like lava iron pincers. The blue light of the crystal ball flashed crazily, and the strange smell of heat waves mixed with caramel sulfur and singeing came to the nostrils, like a barbecue party before a nuclear explosion went out of control. The floor of the dreamland clicked and shattered into a spider web, and purple-black flames spewed out from the boundary cracks and hissed to lick the air. Relatives' throats were choked with relief, and the children cried, wow, together. The fat uncle's chubby body froze, and the grizzly bear's belly trembled and his round eyes bulged, the ultimate firework beast. Uncle, the wolf pack has never seen this nuclear explosion king in a duel. The sliding rocket turned into a dragon. The whole family is ruined, sell tickets for the doomsday show. Shengyan's ponytail shook out beads of cold sweat, she pulled the children back with round eyes, and pinched Xiao Yi with her fingers. His arms and nails embedded in the rainbow strips of meat were bleeding, and he screamed with a trembling voice, Purple Robe's dirty trick. The beast's claws hit the crystal net of desire. Don't stop Xiao Yi's imagination, the resonance is accelerating. Uncle, don't be arrogant, this is not a pack of wolves, but a dragon that destroys the house. The heat wave burned the face like chili oil splashed on the body, the vision was distorted into a kaleidoscope of fire, the ceiling of the hall, bang, collapsed and hit the sofa, and dust mixed with fire flakes choked the nose and coughed repeatedly. Lu Ting gasped and couldn't stand, his soot beard was bubbling. He slapped his belly and roared, but his voice was trembling, little beast, my uncle smashed the nightmare dragon king when he was young. What does this mean? Look at me, the grizzly bear rocket smashed the crown. Thick arms waved and he rushed forward, and his footsteps smashed the floor, but the beast's tail core exploded and the fiery tail hissed, with one puff, the residual soot energy was sucked into the beast's body like a magnet. Gulu Gulu swelled, and the purple flames of the crown exploded. The pyrotechnic beast's body elongated and turned into a giant explosive dragon, its scales sprayed sparks, puff, the dragon's wings fanned out the afterimage of disco light, and the dragon's mouth opened and roared like a remix of an insult song, Uncle Grizzly Bear, Dragon, the dream of fusion rocket implosion. The dragon's body is 3 meters long and its claws are grabbing the air to burst into the caramel rain. Relatives are hugging their heads and running around like arhats. My cousin's bangs are covered in fire and he is screaming, Uncle, is he too arrogant to donate energy? The whole family is wiped out. Uncle Long Xiao, who sells tickets, fingers scratching at the fragments of the app, his voice trembled like stepping on a cat's tail, Brother Xiao. Advanced fusion, my expert dismantles it. The rune, buzz, flashed and sprayed out, the rainbow bubbles went straight to the dragon wings, but the amplified dragon fire turned into laser light balls and fired, dong dong, the walls of the hall sizzled molten holes, and the hot smell rose to the sky. The white silver bangs flickered low, and she flicked the silver light web with her fingers to block the steaming flames of the dragon's claws. Her voice was calm and twitching, defense, upgrade. The silver web absorbed the dragon's energy and counterattacked, and the silver fire elf dragon, chirped, came out. Chorus, by Ninger steams the dragon girl, strengthening the backlash singer group. The singing voice is sweet and harsh, and the popcorn crackles, the dragon wings flap and spray out a rain of silver flames, relatives cover their ears and roll to the ground, and the fat uncle's round eyes protrude with bloodshot threads, by Ningguang again steaming. Uncle's energy donated to the dragon, the expert bubble light show, the party turned into a dragon cave slaughterhouse. The whole family was overwhelmed with despair, the explosive dragon bombed against the crystal, the blue light pulsed like a heartbeat, whispering, collapse, devour, the heat wave choked his lungs, Xiao Yi's forehead was filled with cold sweat mixed with rainbow streaks, and his heart sank to the bottom, just defeated the army, this dragon core exploded, the desire network was broken. The original owner of the black market had the last laugh. The purple-robed figure floated on the dragon's back, and the cracks in the mask flashed with purple light and a sinister smile echoed, integrating Uncle's grizzly bear energy, the Desire Dragon King is invincible. The crystal returns to the throne, and the family's network is burned. The dragon's claws smashed with a boom, the fire fountain hissed on the floor, the relatives screamed and turned into a mountain of flesh, Shengyan's round eyes flashed with tears and she collapsed with a smile, the whole family has upgraded. Dragon version. Uncle donated his energy to the dragon, by Ning's singing star dragon spirit, Xiao Yi is going to be unlucky, don't let the party become a disaster. She took the lead in the counterattack, grabbed the remains of the colored powder, and yelled, Uncle is donating to the dragon bear, the wolf pack will smash your tail. The colored powder snorted the dragon's nose, and the dragon's body shook. He sneezed out a small fireball and exploded his scales. After hearing this, his uncle gasped and laughed. He patted his belly and joined in, you bastards, Uncle admits your defeat. Grizzly bear dragon stalk, smash yourself. He shook his beard and sprayed the remaining ash, and drew the dragon's wings, sizzling, bubbles. The dragon roared and trembled, Uncle, grizzly bear backlash. Xiao Yi's imagination exploded unnaturally. He opened his rainbow eyes and mistakenly thought he was a dragon ally. He grinned, hey. Brother Ultimate Dragon, Uncle's energy donation party. Come and dance with me, my tripping skill is invincible dragon slide. He deliberately tripped into the syrup pit and popped, covered his body with rainbow stripes and twisted his butt to imitate the dragon's tail. The fire tail pumped the air with his hand and hit the dragon's claw with a hiss. The black hole of unlucky energy gathers, the dragon's claws and saws, gulu, slide back and forth, the giant body is unbalanced and, boom, leans forward and self-explodes as a rain of scales, pop, the flames inside the explosion, boom, spray back out of the dragon's mouth, the purple robe pops up and tilts the mask, ouch. The relatives froze, Shengyan's round eyes bulged, she let go of her arms and screamed tremblingly, crazy god Xiao Yi. He mistakenly believed that he was dancing with dragons and tripped and blew himself up. Rain of Scales sold tickets for the Rainbow Dragon show. The fat uncle crawled out from the meat mountain, his round face twitched and laughed wildly, The unlucky dance king tripped the dragon. Brother Long was so dumbfounded that the two bears and dragons were so cute. The cousin poked the uncle in the belly and said, I admire Xiao Yi's imagination, and the party in the dragon cave turned into a comedy. Seeing the opportunity, Jiang Chen pushed up his glasses and shouted excitedly, perfect combo. Expert zooms in for rescue. The fragments of the app buzzed and spat out, and the runes were magnified into rainbows. The rope hissed and burst out from the bubble, wrapped directly around the dragon's body and tied it with slap. The dragon struggled and, boom, tightened the rope and flashed disco lights. The music, dong dong, automatically mixed the insulting song, expert Jiang Chen rope king, black history dragon tying is perfect. The rope stretched scales, sizzling, and emitted colorful smoke, and the dragon wings flapped. But they were tied into rice dumplings and rolled to the ground. The relatives had round eyes and sparkling eyes. Shengyan laughed angrily and took the lead in applauding, Jiang Chen is tied up by mistake. Disco dragon rice dumplings, complaints and heartbreaking upgrades. Bai Ning's silver light was weaved again, and the reinforced rope was flicked with his fingers and wrapped around the cage with a buzzed sound. The flame elf counterattacked the dragon sucking energy and, gulu, it merged into the net. The cage flashed with silver rainbow light and was unbreakable. The corner of her mouth twitched and she said, strengthen, the prison dragon. The dragon's roar turned into a woo-woo and a muffled groan, and the scales popped and dropped caramel crumbs all over the floor. Lu Ting's arrogance turned to the ultimate bond. He pulled the whole family with his thick arms, and his beard trembled and laughed wildly, Kid Dance King, Expert Zongzi, by Ning Lao Net, Uncle finishes. Grizzly Dragon charges, smashes the weak crown. He arrogantly rockets forward, the gulu on his feet slides forward, and his thick belly, boom, hits the weak point of the dragon's belly, the core grisly rune that uncle donates to fuse. The implosion, boom, was like a firework nuclear explosion. The dragon's body cracked, and spewed out a rain of ash and flames, puff, the purple robe, wow, flew from the back and hit the wall, pop, the mask shattered, the sinister smile turned into a scream, fusion backlash, Uncle Grizzly Bear blasted me. The explosive dragon collapsed into a mountain of colorful powder, the cracks shrank and shrank, the blue light of the crystal ball pulsed steadily, the whisper turned, steady, resonant deep, the heat wave dissipated, the air returned to the sweet smell of barbecue mixed with rainbow candy, and the borders of the hall healed and buzzed. The whole family sat on the pile of colored powder, and the relatives gasped and laughed. The fat uncle hugged his belly and exclaimed, "The dragon rice dumpling implodes and the magic is victorious." My uncle accidentally touched the weak point by donating his energy, and sold tickets for Grizzly Dragon Self Black Edition, and it became a hit. My cousin laughed and poked at my uncle. Uncle's arrogant charge turned into a nuclear bomb switch. The whole family is invincible. The children clucked and chased away the scales as toys. Shengyan wiped away the sweat and her round eyes were warm. She pulled Xiao Yi's arm and patted her gently. "Crazy boy, let's dance with the dragon to save the day." The black market props have upgraded the family legend. Sister's prison net, expert rice dumplings, uncle's weakness, the whole family embraces the victory. This is the best party. She flipped her ponytail and smiled and hugged Bai Ning's silver shoulders. Bai Ning's lips twitched and her silver bangs flashed. Family roots are stuck in the dragon flames. Jiang Chen pushed the mirror and hugged the app excitedly. The black history rope is perfect, the foursome plus the uncle's 5 stars. Lu Ting's thick arms circled the whole family, and his beard shook and sprayed dust. The boy's partner in the dance, king, uncle, admitted. The grizzlies and rainbows are cute, uncle will buy tickets on the black market next time. Xiao Yi grinned and slapped his belly. Uncle Wang rocket dragon, the party will be remembered forever. The relatives laughed together, the laughter echoed like a concert, the family ties resonated deeply like crystals, and the colorful powder rain was light and sweet. Shengyan screamed, "New monster! The dream is not over yet." The heat wave started again, and the vision was distorted again. The laughter of the relatives, still hanging on the corners of their mouths, suddenly stopped, as if their throats were cut by invisible iron pliers. The whole family froze into a group of wax figures on a pile of colored powder, with their round eyes staring at the crystal ball. The pulse of blue light should have been the heartbeat of victory, but it dimmed, like the last gasp of a dying old man. Cracks of runes crawled all over the sphere, and they were as thin as spider silk, but spewed out purple-black tobacco shreds that hissed at the air, carrying the putrid smell of moldy oranges and burnt wires. It went straight into the nostrils and made the lungs spasm. The borders of the dreamland hummed, the walls of the mansion twisted into waves, purple light seeped in faintly, like countless purple maggots crawling under the skin, and the colored powder on the floor sank into a vortex, sucking the coldness of the ankles. Shengyan flung out a string of cold sweat from her ponytail. She narrowed her round eyes into needles and tugged at Xiao Yi's arm. Her fingernails were embedded in the rainbow meat strips and they were bleeding. Her voice changed from an angry laugh to a trembling roar. The crystal self-destruction curse has been activated. The villain in the purple robe has been defeated and counterattacked. The web of desire is broken. Reality alarms are piercing the living room. It's burning, the smoke fills the nose with the smell of burnt cloth, the whole family's body is paralyzed and convulsing, the flames lick the ceiling and roar. Double crisis, Xiao Yi's imagination is stuck. Her nose twitched, smelling the smell of coke mixed with the rotten dream, and the red flames flickered at the edge of her vision, as if the tongue of fire in the living room had penetrated into her dream, causing her cheeks to turn red. Cold sweat mixed with rainbow streaks formed a river on Xiao Yi's forehead. His rainbow eyes stared at the crystal, his brain was buzzing but stuck at the bottom, and his heart was as heavy as lead. He just tripped the dragon and imploded the divine victory, but the curse backfired so hard that the original owner of the black market props laughed to the point of cramping. In reality, the body was collectively paralyzed, and the hiccups turned into coughs. The pop-pop sound of flames echoed through the dream. He felt that his physical lungs were burning, and the whirlpool under his feet in the dream was like a ghost pulling his trouser legs. Double fire pit. Uncle Grizzly Bear has just warmed up. The fireworks leaked and burned the house, destroying all the Desire records. He murmured, his voice shaking like a cat's tail, and rainbow stripes all over his body, sizzling and bubbling, like a candle that is about to melt. Fat Uncle Lu Ting's chubby belly trembled, and pieces of ash fell from his gray beard. He panted heavily, got up, patted his belly and shouted, but his confidence was too low. What's a little curse? Uncle Grizzly Bear smashed the Dragon King, and this ball broke. Uncle hit the original owner on the black market. Sell tickets for Crystal Self-Destruction Uncle's Nuclear Explosion Sequel. Relatives rounded their eyes. The cousin's bangs were stained with colored powder and she poked her uncle's belly. Isn't it enough for my uncle to be arrogant and donate a dragon? In reality, my uncle's body caught fire in the living room, and his round belly turned into a charcoal ball. Don't donate more to aggravate the disaster. The children burst into tears and rolled piles of colored powder on their heads. The snot in their noses mixed with the rotten smell made them burst into tears. Jiang Chen tilted his glasses, and the fragments of the app flickered, buzzing, with his fingers. He turned from excitement to despair, and his voice trembled like a candle in the wind. Brother Xiao. Experts remotely control real-life fire extinguishing, and rune projections are linked to stable dreams. The app dinged by mistake, and a spark hissed jumped straight into the crystal cracks, but magnified the linkage. The leakage of fireworks in the real living room intensified, the flames, bang, exploded on the cabinets, the pungent smell of burnt meat mixed with molten plastic rushed into the dream, the ceiling of the hall popped and rained down fire debris, and the purple light at the border soared and swallowed up the corner of the wall. Relatives were scurrying around with heads in their arms, and the fat uncle's round eyes were bleeding and he was screaming, expert Jiang Chen spark assist. Uncle's flesh-roasted pig upgraded to a nuclear explosion, and the dream of fire and rain sold tickets for Uncle's charcoal show. The whole family was wiped out, and the party turned into a double realm to roast the whole family. Shengyan's eyes widened and she flipped her ponytail, cold sweat splattered. Jiang Chen's Black History sequel. Wrong fire sparks linked to burn the family. Complain about your experts. Proof the magical skill of diverting disaster to the east. The white silver bangs flickered low and danced wildly. She flicked the silver light with her fingers to test the buzzing pulse of the crystal. Her calm voice was twitching, the source of the curse, the abyss of desire. The core of arrogance needs to be sacrificed through resonance, and the uncle's grizzly bear mentality is sacrificed to crack it. The silver light web penetrated into the cracks. Reflecting the shadow of the purple robe with a sinister smile, the family's desire for arrogance, uncle's grizzly bear fuel, burn it all. The crystal whispered, sacrifice, arrogance. The purple light came like a tide, the floor vortex expanded, sand sucked the feet, the heat wave mixed with putrid odor burned the face like sulfuric acid splashed on the body. Shengyan laughed angrily and broke down, and Bai Ning's silver-shouldered round eyes flashed with tears. Sisters worked together to reveal the secret. Uncle sacrifices his pride, and the resonance crystal is stable. But in reality, the tongue of fire licks the window, and the body twitches and coughs up blood. Bai Ning's mouth twitched and nodded slightly, the silver net hissed, and steamed purple light came back, and the tip of his nose smelled the burning smell intensifying. Lu Ting waved his thick arms in an arrogant manner and refused, shaking his beard and spitting dust as he yelled, "Are you arrogant at the expense of your uncle? What nonsense are you talking about? The grizzly bear king will never bow his head. Let's see how awesome my uncle is at smashing it into pieces." He picked up the fragments of the dragon scales and the colorful powder mountain and crushed them into pieces. He sucked the pyrotechnic energy into his belly with a gulu, and his round body swelled with a boom to transform into a pyrotechnic pet, a grizzly bear's head. It sprouted a rocket tail, its claws sprayed sparks, puff puff, and its body stretched into a 3-meter fire-tailed bear. Its red eyes flashed and it roared, "Uncle Pet King, chew it to pieces," and cursed the whole family. It pounced with a dong dong, and the firetail sucked the air and hissed and burned the floor. The relatives screamed and dispersed. A chase broke out, and the hall turned into a slaughterhouse where the fire bear chased people. Xiao Yi syrup pit rolled forward with a pop, the rainbow stripes twisted his butt to dodge, and his brain buzzed in despair. Uncle turned into a fire bear pet. The unlucky dance upgraded to a biting version, and the whole family's meat mountain turned into a kebab. The fire bear's claws smashed him in place, and the bursting caramel rain pop burned his legs, and the bone marrow was painfully hot. Shengyan's ponytail flicked the child back, her round eyes protruded, and she complained in a trembling voice, "My uncle refused to sacrifice, and misused the fragments to become a biting monster. He was so arrogant that he turned into a pet to kill the family, and the party turned into a bear version." She grabbed the remains of the colored powder and popped and breathed fire into the bear's nose. Jiang Chen ran wildly with the app in his arms, his glasses flying and his fingers swiping wildly, expert in dismantling pet runes. Perfect combo. The runes buzzed and sprayed rainbow bubbles by mistake, hissed and wrapped the fire bear, but enlarged the tail of the rocket and turned into a laser whip and hissed, causing the wall to sizzle and create molten holes, and the putrid heat wave reached the sky. Relatives rolled on the floor, and my cousin screamed and poked the air. Jiang Chen bubble assists bear whip. Uncle's pet sells tickets for the Grizzly Bear Rocket Bite family show, and Black history experts join forces to destroy the party. The children cried and stumbled while chasing, and they choked and coughed with snot and tears mixed with fire debris. The fat uncle's fire bear version had round eyes and red protuberances, and he roared and sang, "Uncle Grizzly Bear Bites curse, you bastards admit defeat." The white silver bangs danced, and her fingers flicked the silver light net to block the bear's claws from hissing, steaming flames. She twitched calmly, "Strengthen, the pet becomes cute." The silver net absorbs the fire and the bear energy backfires, and the silver flames burst out. The baby bear chirped in the chorus, "Uncle Cute Bear Group," the rocket tail turns into a marshmallow. The fire bear body, Golu, shrinks into a cute pet in the palm of the hand, the rocket tail collapses and sprays rainbow bubbles, puff, the red eyes turn into watery eyes and blinks in frustration, and the paws hold the belly and roll the colorful powder into Golu, to act like a baby. Relatives froze in pursuit, their round eyes bulging. Shengyan's round eyes flashed with tears and she laughed convulsingly, the magic of Bai Ning. My uncle turned from a big bear to a cute marshmallow, from chasing and biting to coquettishness, and he complained so much. But before the laughter ended, the crystal cracked, the blue light was completely extinguished, and the purple light erupted like a black hole. The boundary vortex, bang, swallowed half the hall, and the tongue of real flames burst the window glass with a pop, and the burning pain of the body penetrated into the dream. Xiao Yi's heart sank to the bottom, his rainbow eyes reflected the purple-black whirlpool, and the putrid heat wave was as overwhelming as a landslide. Cute bear terrier comes to the rescue. The curse is ignored, the uncle is arrogant and does not sacrifice, the crystal collapses the core. The double-world sea of fire, the whole family's desires are burned, Black the original owner of the city has won. He racked his brains to get rid of the juice, but there was no way. The whirlpool under his feet pulled, rustling, and swallowed his shoes. The relatives screamed and hugged each other, and the cute bear version of Gugu, the fat uncle, rolled into his arms and blinked in frustration, but to no avail. Sheng Yinyuan's eyes flashed with despair, and she dragged the whole family, "Uncle, please show your arrogance." The grizzly bear mentality resonates, don't let the party turn into eternal ashes. Lu Ting gasped and half of his human form was restored, his beard trembled and refused, "Uncle's arrogance will last forever." The purple-robed shadow echoed with laughter, "Arrogance is the fuel of burning the family." The core of the dream collapsed with a rumbling, the crystal fragments popped and hit the ground like a meteor shower, the purple-manged black hole opened its mouth and sucked everyone in. The vision was distorted into a purple and black kaleidoscope, the rotten smell was as thick as ink filling the lungs, and the heat wave burned the bone marrow and hurt the heart. Relatives screamed, "Ah!" and flew into the whirlpool, forming a mountain of meat and spinning and falling. Xiao Yi's rainbow stripes twisted against the wind, and his brain roared in despair, inside the prop. The whole family was sucked into the abyss of the black market. It was a big mistake. Shengyan's ponytail danced in tears, and she hugged Xiao Yi's arm tightly with her round eyes bulging. "Hold on, resonance." Jiang Chen app, ding, shattered, the glasses flew off and screamed, "Expert." The ultimate black history. The white condensed silver light network broke, and the corners of his mouth twitched and whispered, "The abyss," strengthened. Lu Ting hugged the cute bear version and trembled, "Uncle." The grizzly bear surrendered. Everyone screamed and spiraled into the darkness, the purple light swallowed everything, and the crisis overwhelmed the bottomless abyss. The purple and black vortex is like 10,000 ink pythons entangled, grunting and swallowing the screaming meat mountain. Xiao Yi's rainbow stripes twist wildly against the wind, the brain buzzes into fireworks but is stuck in a desperate dead end. The whole family falls into the abyss inside the prop, and the sinister smile of the original owner of the black market is still echoing in the ears. Arrogance is the fuel that burns down the house. The sea of fire in reality burns the body and hurts like thousands of needles pricking the lungs. The putrid heat wave in the dream scalds the face and blisters. The kaleidoscope of vision distorts into a purple-black paste. The nostrils are filled with the poisonous mist of moldy oranges and burnt wires, choking. The throat spasms and coughing up rainbow bloodshot streaks. His heart sank to the bottom of his heart. His uncle's arrogance could not be saved. The cute bear's coquettishness turned into a joke. The black hole swallowed up the family, and the whole family was wiped out. How could I, the king of imagination, make a comeback? The dark history of best friend Jiang Chen is magnified. Shengyan tries to pull on the heart warmer but to no avail. Bai Ning Guang cuts off the internet, and the uncle grizzly bear admits defeat completely, unless fragments of props flash in his mind and whisper, "Sacrifice for arrogance," but the uncle's round belly never bows. How can it resonate? The unlucky dance has been upgraded to the abyss version. The traps and dodges are all useless. The psychological game is like a fire and the brain is on fire. Pretend to be stupid and make a fool of yourself. Or outwit the layout. Despair overwhelmed him. He gritted his teeth and thought to himself, first stabilize the family, and then use the evil spirit to protect the elves. The sequel of Uncle Grizzly Bear roasting the family in the abyss, sold out and exploded at the box office. The relatives whirled and screamed, snot, tears and fire flakes mixed into a sticky paste. The fat uncle hugged the cute bear version of himself and rolled around. His round eyes were red and protruding, trembling and growling. "Uncle, you are arrogant," half confessed. "Bunny? Children, hold on tight, the grizzly bear will never fly away." Shengyan's ponytail danced, her eyes were bulging with blood as she hugged Xiao Yi tightly, her nose was quivering as she smelled the putrid heat, and she complained in a trembling voice, "Keep resonating. Uncle, don't let the black hole become a family meat grinder, and the real body will cough up blood on the edge of the glass." The smell of melted plastic exploded into the lungs. Jiang Chen's app fragments flew off, and the fragments of his glasses poked his face and screamed. Expert black history finally fell. Brother Zhao's imagination came to the rescue. Bai Ningyin's bangs fluttered against his face, and the corners of his mouth twitched as he whispered, "Abyss, inside the void, an intensified test." Everyone crashed into the purple-black void with a bang, and the bottomless platform under their feet condensed into colorful and shattered ice. The cold and heat were as biting as taking a bath in sulfuric acid. The purple mist rolled around and a number of strange stone pillars appeared. The rune bubbles floating on the top of the stone pillars, goo-goo, blew out purple smoke, and the air buzzed with a low voice and echoed with a sinister laugh. A cloud of pink smoke exploded in the center of the void, condensing into a short, fat elf, a green-skinned, round-bellied, big-eyed, dazed person. The pyrotechnic cap on his head was tilted and sprayed rainbow flames. He held the wine bottle in his paws and drank it with a gulu. His drunken eyes swept around the whole family. His voice was as thin as a pinched duck's throat. Hey, hey, break into the dark. The unlucky ones in the abyss of city props. I am the cursed guardian elf Bubble King, and the purple-robed boss sent me to test the family's understanding. If I fail, I will fall into the void and burn my desire. The first question, what is the source of the family's greatest pride? Wrong answer. The round eyes of the relatives were frozen like popsicles. Shengyan shook her ponytail with cold sweat, and yelled at Xiao Yi, the Bubble King's weird examiner. Uncle's arrogance is exposed, and he makes a lot of comments, and he answers the question in sympathy. The fat uncle's round belly trembled, and the cute bear version blinked with watery eyes. He was thick panting's arrogance exploded, the source of arrogance. Uncle Grizzly King will never give up. You bastards, Uncle is quick to answer, I am the biggest arrogant, smashed the Bubble King. The green elf laughed and pointed at his uncle with a snap of his claws. Wrong. The rain of explosions is coming, but the fuel of arrogance will strengthen the target. Boom! Rain fell from the sky, purple and black fire beads popped like meteor hammers. The heat wave mixed with rancidity and exploded the caramel pit. Sizzling, melting platform. Relatives hugged their heads and scurried around, sniffed singed plastic mixed with moldy oranges, and screamed repeatedly as their legs burned and pain spread through their bone marrow. Xiao Yi's brain is buzzing and the psychological game is accelerating. The uncle's arrogance is exposed. The king of bubbles has a tacit understanding of the trick. Will wrong answers lead to disaster? You can't be tough, you have to be weird and sideways. He twisted his rainbow-striped butt and rolled forward in the colorful powder pit, grabbed the cute Uncle Bear version of Goo Goo, and stuffed it into his mouth with rainbow-crushed ice. He pretended to be stupid and shouted, the source of family pride is, Uncle Grizzly Bear's round belly alcohol consumption. Let's have an abyss drinking contest and sacrifice in harmony. The elf's eyes widened and the green skin cramped, and the wine bottle popped and sprayed. Unlucky boy made a weird wrong answer. Double the explosion rain, spray. Uncle's fireworks target. The rain surged like a volcano, and his round body, Gulu, sucked in energy and swelled up to become a fireworks target. His belly burst into rainbow cracks and, pop, exploded into small fireworks. His rocket tail was reborn and his face burned, and his red eyes bulged and he shouted, Uncle, the arrogant target king. Selling tickets for the Uncle Fireworks show in the abyss, bastard Xiao Yi. Sheng Yenyuan's eyes flashed with tears and she burst into laughter. She swung her ponytail and pulled the child away. Xiao Yi has a weird idea and makes me laugh. The wrong answer triggered the target of Uncle Bangyu, complaining about you, the unlucky king, upgraded to an abyss scammer. Command, the whole family tacitly besieged the Bubble King, and the uncle couldn't bear to say goodbye. Explosion. Relatives' round eyes were bulging, and the cousin's bangs were sticky with purple mist and she poked her uncle's belly. Uncle's target is selling tickets for the sequel. The round belly fireworks imploded, and the whole family roasted the target in an oolong abyss. The children cried and burst into tears, and the rollers smashed the ice piles and choked with rancid smells. Jiang Chen's finger swiped randomly as the residue of the app buzzed and flashed. He turned from excitement to despair and screamed, experts answer. The source of arrogance is the purple robe projection of the abyss of desire. The rune projection was dismantled. The residue of the app dinged by mistake and sprayed a laser bubble that hissed and bubbled. The Bubble King, however, amplified the rain. The rain of explosions turned into a rain of laser fire droplets that sizzled. The platform melted into a lava river and bubbled. Gulu, the hot steam burned the lungs, and the uncle's target body was hit by a rocket tail whip and self-exploded rainbow flames, bang, into the sky. Relatives were stacked on top of each other, and the fat uncle's red eyes were bulging with bloodshot threads and he shouted, expert Jiang Chen's laser assist. My uncle's target has been upgraded to the nuclear blast whip king, and the Black History Abyss has joined forces to destroy my uncle. The white silver bangs flickered low and danced wildly. She flicked the silver light net with her fingers to block the fire beads and hissed into the purple flames. Her twitching voice was calm. Strengthen, test the gamification. The silver net absorbs rain and can backfire. The void stone pillars buzz and turn the rainbow turntable, and the exploding rain turns into game marbles, dinging chaotically. After the collision, the green-skinned Bubble King dropped the jug to the ground. Cute girl's silver light dark horse. A test of game upgrades, tacit understanding to pass the level. Xiao Yi's heart brightened, and the psychological game turned. Bai Ning's magical skills were gamified, his uncle's target attracted firepower, Jiang Chen's dark history was magnified, but he was helping the silver network. Brainstorming, the layout is tacitly understood, the whole family pretends to be arrogant and sacrifices, and the Bubble King implodes. He was covered in rainbow stripes, bubbling buttocks and flashing laser beads. He grabbed the tail of his uncle's fireworks and pulled him back with a snap. He stared at Shengyan and blinked in secret. Conductor Qingmei. Uncle is arrogant and pretends to be a sacrifice, and our whole family has a tacit understanding. The round belly of a grizzly bear never bows his head, but he bows his head to resonate with the family. Shengyan's nostrils twitched to sniff the lava and coke, and her round eyes flashed with tears and nodded, understood. Complaining about the conductor, Uncle roars his own song, and the whole family sings the Bubble King. Lu Ting's body was swollen and gray and his beard was shaking, and his arrogant mentality collapsed instantly. He waved his thick arms and blinked his red eyes in aggrievedness. He hugged his belly and roared, then trembled in chorus, Uncle Grizzly Bear. Arrogant sacrifices. The round belly fuels the curse, and the bastards are smashing into the abyss with Uncle. The relatives were all round-eyed and shocked, the cousin screamed and poked the air, Uncle finally admits his defeat. The target has turned around since the big song sells tickets, and the party is so exciting. The whole family sang, Grizzly Bear Arrogance dedicates his family, in unison. The sound, boom, hit the stone pillars, the ding-ding of the rainbow turntable accelerated the marble rain and backfired on the Bubble King, and the green skin's eyes widened. The wine bottle burst into pieces with a pop, and the pyrotechnic cap sprayed out the imploding flames, gulu, and shrank into a bubble pet in the palm of the hand. Tacit understanding passed the level. Arrogant fuel resonance unlocked, but, the void shrank, the edge of the second level. The relatives panted and rounded their eyes in relief. Shengyan shook her ponytail and shook her sweat beads, her round eyes flashed with tears of joy, and hugged her tightly. Xiao Yi's arm was embedded in a shallow mark, Xiao Yi's cleverness and planning. The funny and wrong answers turned out to be sinister and the whole family sang together. The uncle showed his pride and warmed his heart, and the gamification of passing the level was so intense that the complaints were overwhelming. The fragments of Jiang Chen's glasses were sticky, and he was shaking with excitement. The expert's dark history unexpectedly assists, and the laser rain combo is a tacit understanding. Xiao Yi's rainbow eyes shimmered in the void, and his mind was full of excitement, but alarm bells were ringing. He won a psychological game, his uncle sacrificed his arrogant resonance, but the Bubble King's pet transformation was unstable. The walls of the void buzzed and contracted like a giant beast's gastrointestinal peristalsis, and gulu squeezed the platform. The purple mist condensed and rancid heat wave overwhelmed the top. The reality-linked tongue of fire popped and exploded more fiercely, and the smell of burning flesh and coughing blood penetrated the nasal cavity. He thought to himself, a small reversal, the plan continues, but the guardian spirit is talking about the second level. Is there a big boss hidden deep in the black market? The tacit understanding of the whole family has been upgraded. Uncle Grizzly Terrier King has become Nuan Nuan's father. Shengyan Nuan is full of trust. Bai Ning is a dark horse in the silver light game. Jiang Chen is a historical helper, and the legend of the party's oolong abyss continues. The edge of the platform cracked, the crushed smoothie sand sank, the relatives hugged each other and their eyes bulged again. The fat uncle's target body was half restored and he rubbed his belly and groaned, Uncle, is it good to sacrifice? The grizzly bear lowered his head once, and the bastards are preparing for the second wave of ticket sales. In the midst of laughter, the blue light of the crystal ball dimmed, the rune cracks, kaka, self-destructed and spread, whispering, curse, activated, and the border of the dream trembled and purple light loomed. The relatives' laughter froze, and Shengyan narrowed her eyes slightly. Is it stable? But the runes self-destructed, and the curse of the props counterattacked. Before she could finish her words, the real-world alarm, Didi, pierced into the dreamland. There was a fire in the party living room. The smoke stung the nose and mixed with the smell of burnt cloth, the collective body collapsed and twitched, the burping and hiccups turned into wheezing, the flames licked the ceiling, and the crisis started again. There was a loud rumbling in the depths of the void, and the purple and black mist exploded and condensed into the final guardian, a 10-meter giant shadow in purple robes, a sinister smile with the rune, sacrificed the whole family, on his face, his claws grasping the black hole, his heart, pounding and pulsing, and a low thunderous roar, passed the bubble test. Humph, the ultimate trial, the abyss of desire is fully opened, the family's pride is burned, and the sea of reality consumes the mansion. Bastards, kneel down and sacrifice everything. The heat wave surges and burns the bones, the rotten smell fills the ears, the edge of the platform collapses, the whole family screams and hugs, the crisis is endless. The purple-robed giant claws smashed through the platform like a mountain. The crushed ice powder exploded into thousands of needles and pricked the skin. The hot and putrid mist, gulu, spewed straight into the nose, causing the throat to spasm and coughing out burnt black blood foam. Relatives piled high on top of each other screaming, ah! Their noses, tears and fire flakes stuck to their faces into purple and black paste. The fat uncle's round belly fireworks crackled, poof, and then exploded the small rocket tail, sucking out the air and hissing, and burning his legs. His red eyes were bulging with bloodshot eyes and he growled, I just finished my uncle's sacrifice. The purple-robed giant the ghost is the ultimate ticket-selling boss, and the bastards are hugging their Uncle Grizzly Bear at the bottom. Shengyan flailed her ponytail, sweat drops fell like rain, and she pulled Xiao Yi's arm into blood. Her round eyes were filled with tears of fear and joy, her nose was quivering as she sniffed the lava, coke, and moldy orange poisonous mist, and she complained in a trembling voice, full desire for the ultimate trial. The heart of the black hole was pounding, and the glass of the real-life mansion was completely exploded. The smell of melted plastic and burnt hair rushed straight into the lungs, and there was a lot of complaints. The whole family has a tacit understanding to upgrade, don't let the giant claws turn into a sequel to the family mince. The residue of Jiang Chen's app buzzed wildly, the fragments of glasses poked blood on his face, and he scratched his fingers and screamed, expert's Black History prophecy. Purple Robe's real-life version fuses with the abyss, desire destroys the family's nuclear explosion, Brother Zhao's brainstorming magic trick. Bai Ning's silver bangs flickered low and danced wildly, his fingers flickered the silver light net to block the aftermath of the claw wind, the corner of his mouth twitched and whispered, strengthen. Transform into the fireworks demon king, the game is over. The giant shadow, Boom, looked up to the sky and laughed wildly, the purple robe swelled like a bursting balloon, the rune bubble, Gugu, melted into the body and exploded with rainbow flames, the 10-meter body swelled to 20 meters, 50 meters, straight into the void dome, the green-skinned bubble king's pet, Pa, was sucked into the belly and turned into rocket eyes, with a sinister smile. Pang twists into a pyrotechnic demon, a round belly with a cracked rocket tail and a wild whip, claws spraying explosive rain of laser beads, a black hole heart, thumping, embedded in the chest and swallowing the edge of the platform, a heat wave and putrid smell like sulfuric oranges burning wires, sizzling, and steaming, and the nose is filled with the smell of caramel pits and goes straight to the forehead. The demon king thundered and roared, arrogance fuels the sacrifice of the whole family. Uncle Grizzly Terrier King, combined with my bubble test explosion rain plus laser fire drop rain, game marbles turned into abyss nuclear bombs, real sea of fire linking the mansion to melt. The disaster fusion bombing from the sky, ding 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 ping ping sizzling, collided with the stone pillars and the turntable accelerated, the lava river surged like a gulu fountain high and scalded the bone marrow, the color shattered the ice and the rain of poisonous needles pierced the meat mountain, relatives hugged their heads and scurried into taller arhats, screaming and bursting with snot that exploded into rainbow sticky threads. The devil is selling tickets for the super long sequel of The Whole Family is Roasted in the Abyss. The uncle's target upgraded The Devil's Belly, and the party made an oolong hit at the box office. The platform clicked and collapsed like a giant beast's gastrointestinal peristalsis and squeezed. Reality-linked flames popped and exploded the window glass with molten droplets. The body burned and hurt like thousands of needles, scalding the lungs, coughing, and blood spraying. Xiao Yi's rainbow-striped body is full of bubbles and he twists his butt. Gulu is unlucky to trip over the colored powder pit and roll forward. His brain is buzzing and juice is accelerating, the ultimate pyrotechnic demon fused with the Stalker King. The uncle's arrogance fuels the opening brick, the Bubble King's rocket eyes smile sinisterly, and the whole family is burned in the abyss of desire. The clever layout continues, and the funny side attack guides the attack. With a purple mist on his face, he stared at the Demon King's belly and pretended to be stupid and shouted, "Brother Demon King, are you the biggest ticket seller?" Uncle Grizzly Bear round belly competition continues, Abyss Fireworks belly explosion dance, I will lead the dance. He twisted his butt wildly with rainbow stripes and tripped against the wind. The laser beads, ding, bounced directly towards the Demon King's fire. The tail of the arrow, hissing, whipped itself and, pop, exploded with colorful flames. The devil's green-skinned rocket eyes widened and cramped, and he roared in a thin duck voice, "Unlucky boy, you tripped the dance king." The explosive rain locked, the laser beads chased the soul. The relatives' round eyes bulged like popsicles, and my cousin's bangs poked the air and screamed, Xiao Yi's imagination is the dance king of the abyss. The Magic King is tricked by selling tickets, and the box office is doubled in the sequel of the party legend. Shengyan's round eyes flashed with tears, and the shallow marks on her arms deepened, and her ponytail flicked with sweat and she complained, Xiao Yi's trick is a weird upgrade. Guidance, Qingmei's warm hug, dance with the whole family to dismantle the devil's arrogance. The uncle's round belly was swollen and rubbed with gray beard, and his red eyes were bulging. The cute bear version Gugu blinked his eyes, and roared, the rabbit is tricking the uncle to trick the devil. The leader of the grizzly bear dance group, the uncle's round belly steals the scene and assists. The Demon King's claws, bang, smashed into the chasing soul, the exploding rain of laser beads, sizzling and dinging, locked onto Xiao Yi like a meteor hammer, the heat wave mixed with the rotten pit and, popped, to melt the platform. He was unlucky to dodge the colored ice, Gulu, rolling circle, twisted his butt with rainbow stripes and bounced the rain of beads straight into the heart of the Demon King's black hole. The fragments of Jiang Chen's glasses were sticky and he scratched the app with his fingers. The fragments buzzed red, and he screamed excitedly, expert's Black History amplification technique. Rune projection disassembly, laser bubble overclocking, backfire in the devil's belly. The broken app dinged and sprayed a giant laser bubble by mistake. The Demon King's rocket eyes flashed, but the Black History amplified the energy and exploded into a nuclear explosion of light with a bang, which backfired in the heart of the black hole. Relatives were stacking arhats with rolled edges and round eyes, and the fat uncle blinked his red eyes in shock and shook off his gray beard. Expert Jiang Chen's Black History of Nuclear Explosion assists. Uncle's target king looks stupid, the devil self-immolated and sold tickets for the internal version, the bastard's round-eyed worship. By Ningyin. Bangs danced his fingers and flicked the net, hissing, to absorb the backlash energy, and the corner of his mouth twitched and whispered, game, inversion and strengthening, resonance edge. The silver light net expanded and enveloped the whole family, the cold touch was biting to block the heat wave, and the nasal mist was diluted into a cool silver fragrance. Shengyan's ponytail danced wildly, her round eyes sparkled with tears of joy, she hugged Xiao Yi with her arms embedded in deep scars and pulled the whole family together, her nostrils quivered and sniffed the coke that turned to silver, and she commanded with a trembling voice to complain, the Demon King is arrogant and merges with the Bubble King. The green-skinned rocket's eyes are dark and smiles to sell tickets, the complaints are disintegrating, Uncle Grizzly Bear's round belly will never bow, but the Demon King's belly is rounder and more arrogant, I.O. flat explosion. The whole family chorus is upgraded, and it will explode. She glared at the devil with her belly splitting, her ponytail flickering with sweat, and shouted, "The arrogant devil, the ticket seller of the round-bellied firework show. The abyss meat grinder has become a self-immolation machine, and the dark history of your green-skinned drunk examiner has been exposed." The devil smiled sinisterly, and his face twitched. The green-skinned man with cracked eyes trembled, and his voice shrilled, "Qingmei ponytail complains about the queen. Arrogance destroys weaknesses, and explosive rain punishes, but belly cracks hurt like needles." The crack in the belly accelerated and self-destructed with a pop-pop, and the rainbow flames erupted inwardly and the black hole jumped, thumping. The relatives were round-eyed and relieved, and they were shocked, and the cousin screamed and poked his uncle. "Belly," Shengyan complained about the magic skill. The Demon King's pride collapsed, and Uncle Round Belly was out-compete to sell out tickets. The party was full of warmth and complaints. The uncle's round eyes were red and he blinked in grievance, rubbing his belly and grey beard. Dust flew away and gasping, "Bunny Shengyan cheated uncle." Grizzly Bear's arrogant sacrifice continued. Uncle's sacrifice of heart became a key blow, and Round Belly's fuel was fully used to hit the Demon King. Lu Ting's fat body was swollen and his round belly was trembling. The game of arrogance finally collapsed. He shook his grey beard and shed tears from his red eyes. He hugged the cute bear version and stuffed his mouth with cracked ice. He waved his thick arms and roared tremblingly, "Uncle Grizzly Bear, give all your pride and heart." The Round Belly Fireworks Target King upgraded the nuclear bomb. The bastards watched his uncle smash into the abyss, sell tickets. Uncle sacrifices the devil's belly. The god-piercing ending. His round belly, Gulu, sucked in residual energy from all the platforms, swollen into a giant ball and burst into cracks. The rocket tail grew wildly and hissed to suck out the air. He rushed into the devil's belly and, bang, hit the black hole's heart. The pyrotechnic belly exploded like a volcano and erupted rainbow nuclear flames. It pulsated directly into the heart and thumped to burst the rune bubbles and pop to shatter into purple and black rain. The Demon King's green-skinned round eyes were wide open and his rocket tail was weak, and he roared, "Uncle, you sacrificed yourself, the key weakness." Burning the abyss of desire failed. The relatives' round eyes were bloodshot, and Shengyan's ponytail flicked her tears and screamed, "Uncle, Nguan Dad, a wonderful turn. Yuan. Sacrificing a heart-piercing blow, the grizzly bear bowed his head and sold the ticket forever, complaining about your arrogance and admitting defeat. Jiang Chen's fingers stiffened and the app shattered, and he blushed excitedly. Black history assists Uncle Combo's nuclear bomb, the expert proves that he is blushing. The white silver bangs danced wildly and she flicked her fingers. The silver light network hissed and expanded to wrap around the whole family and strengthen the resonance. The cold silver fragrance was pungent and suppressed the rancid smell. The touch was like electricity flowing through the bone marrow and speeding up the heartbeat. She twitched the corner of her mouth and whispered, "The whole family," the resonance shattered the core. The silver net absorbs the remaining flames of the uncle, Xiao Yi's rainbow stripes, Shengyan's complaints, Jiang Chen's laser bubbles. The fully fused giant silver rainbow arrow shoots the remaining core of the Demon King's black hole heart with a buzz, and the rune slurry explodes with a bang. Gulu splashed out, the Demon King's body swelled to the limit and popped and cracked, his whole body rocket tail imploded in a chain, the green-skinned Bubble King pet bow popped up and shrank into balloon debris, his sinister smiling face twisted and collapsed and screamed, "Tacit agreement on nuclear explosion. The curse is loosened, and the abyss is reshaped." The dome of the void cracked and golden light fell, the stone pillar turntable dinged, and the lava river condensed and the ice-colored powder platform was reborn. The rancid heat wave was diluted into a cool and fruity fragrance, and the nasal cavity was as refreshing as a spring breeze. Dreams are reshaped and stabilized, and reality is linked to the sea of fire, which faintly extinguishes the flames beside the window. Relatives were out of breath, round-eyed, relieved, smiling and hugging each other. The mountains of meat were spread out and piled up into warm piles. Their faces were washed with snot, tears and fire flakes and turned into flowers. Shengyan's ponytail drooped with tears flying down her face. She hugged Xiao Yi tightly and her arms were embedded with warm red marks, and she burst into laughter. Xiao Yi's brainstorming tricks the whole family. The unlucky dance king guides, the uncle sacrifices his heart, the complaints collapse, and the resonance of the silver network is shattered. The party abyss is an oolong legend, the warm and explosive hug sells tickets and will be remembered forever. The uncle's round belly rolled back and he rubbed his gray beard and his red eyes blinked in tears of grievance and joy. He hugged the cute bear version and cooed like a baby, gasping and roaring. Uncle Grizzly Bear lowered his head and felt happy. The bastards hugged Uncle Nwan Daddy. The ticket sales for the family nuclear explosion fireworks show are box office gods. Jiang Chen's glasses were sticky, his fingers were trembling with excitement, his eyes were red and his face was red, and he screamed, "The Black History amplifies the combo's invincibility." Experts prove that the Abyss version. Bai Ningyin's bangs were still and the corners of his mouth were raised slightly, and he whispered, "Reinforcement, completed." Relatives raised their eyes in admiration and laughed. Brother Xiao Yi is the invincible king of imagination. Uncle's warm father, Sister Xing complains about the queen, Zhang's expert black divine assistant, Bai Ningyin's dark horse. The family's tacit understanding of the nuclear explosion devil continues, the legend of party laughter continues. The fat uncle's round eyes were red and bulging, laughing and shaking. The cute bear version of Goo Goo blinked and acted coquettishly. Shengyan's ponytail danced and pulled the whole family, her round eyes flashed with fear and joy. The white silver bangs danced and flicked her fingers slightly. The residue of Jiang Chen's app buzzed and scratched. Xiao Yi's rainbow stripes twisted and his mind raced. The ultimate trial is coming. The resourceful layout is upgraded, and the family's tacit understanding of nuclear explosion counterattack. The purple-robed giant claws slammed down, and the two realms of the Sea of Fire and Abyss were on the verge of collapse. The golden light door buzzed and pulsated like a heart, spraying fruity mist. The sweet orange mixed with silver and cool freshness penetrated the nose. The warm piles of relatives dispersed and ran in groups. The soles of their feet popped and crushed the colored powder and ice slag and squeaked to form a rhythm. Sweat beads and nose and tears were sticky on the face and smiled. Turning into purple and black flowers, she screamed and then laughed and shouted, "The devil's nuclear explosion is so exciting." Uncle Nwan Dad sacrifices to the gods. Xiao Yi's dancing king has an invincible imagination. Escape and escape, the real Sea of Fire, don't swallow the house. Sequel. Shengyan's ponytail flicked out the arc of tears, hugging Xiao Yi's arms, and the embedded marks were painful and warm red. Her round eyes flashed with joy and fear. Her nose twitched as she smelled the fruity aroma and the aftertaste of Coke. She commanded with a trembling voice and burst into laughter. The whole family has a tacit understanding to speed up. Sprint through the golden light gate. Uncle's round belly don't go back to selling tickets. Green plum warm embrace escort. The real beam, bang, bursts out of the window. The molten droplets, sizzling, scald the meat, coughing up blood. Don't let the demon king sell tickets on the edge. Xiao Yi's rainbow-striped afterimage twists his butt and stumbles into the pit. Gulu takes the lead in charging, his body covered with sweat and purple mist. His brain is buzzing with juice. He is out of the layout and continues to write. The party will never die, but the alarm bell is ringing wildly. The heart of the prop black hole is faintly thumping. Jiang Chen's glasses were sticky, his fingers were trembling and his face was red with excitement. He screamed with envy and hugged the app crumbs, which were buzzing wildly. He squeezed the front-loading expert and roared. The Black History expert came out with a magical skill. Rune projection export spell. Abyss fireworks return to the family warm pile. Bubble King Crumbs will always remember to sell tickets. His fingers swiped randomly and the app fragments dinged and sprayed a green fire by mistake. Arrow Eye Rune bubbles hissed and rushed into the golden door, but Black History amplified the cyclic energy boom and twisted the channel into a maze. Gastrointestinal peristalsis, Gulu Gulu, squeezed the wall. the stone pillar turntable revived, ding ding, to accelerate the rain of bullets and beads and hit the head, papa, the lava condensed ice cracked, caca, and sprayed hot and spicy orange putrid mist straight into the lungs and coughed up burnt black blood foam. Relatives hit the wall with, ah, and were dizzy and rolling, their noses were filled with rainbow sticky threads and their faces were pulled. The fat uncle's round belly was half rubbed, rubbing grey beard flakes, and his red eyes were protruding with bloodshot eyes. He growled and screamed, expert bastard, the sequel to the dark history maze. Uncle Grizzly Bear Target King just finished his sacrifice, and he turned into the bottom of the gastrointestinal meat grinder. Round belly the light bulb illuminates, the fireworks tail is fully open. His round belly, gulu, sucked in the remaining flames and swollen and cracked, the rocket tail, whipped the air and exploded the small fireworks, puff, lighting, the orange flames reflected the green runes on the wall and twisted with a sinister smile. Sheng Yenyuan's eyes widened and she was afraid of tears of joy. She pulled Xiao Yi's arm with deep marks and bloodshot eyes. She flicked her ponytail and hit the wall with beads of sweat like rain. Her nostrils quivered as she sniffed the rotten odor and turned to fruity fragrance. She burst out with trembling complaints, Jiang Chen, a black history expert, zooms into the maze. The gate of golden light turns into an abyss, and the uncle's pyrotechnic tail lightbulb king is embarrassed to sell tickets. Bai Ningyin's sisters worked together to stabilize the passage, and Qingmei commanded the whole family to laugh and collapse. Family happiness is the antidote, don't let the bubble king continue to sell tickets. Bai Ningyin's bangs flickered in a low light, her fingers flicked the silver silk threads and, hissed, the web to wrap around the wall, and the cold current flowed through the bone marrow to accelerate her heartbeat and suppress the heat wave. She twitched the corners of her mouth and whispered, circle, strengthened, resonance unlocked. The silver net buzzed, expanded and sucked in the rocket tail flames, turning orange to silver and the cool fragrance diluted the fog. The relatives were round-eyed, relieved, shocked, and poked the uncle's belly and screamed, "Uncle!" The lightbulb grizzly bear exploded. The fireworks tail lighting sells tickets internal version, expert Zhang's face is red and black, the history continues, the maze minces meat let's go to the family lantern festival. Lu Ting shook his gray beard and blinked in frustration, hugged the cute bear and stuffed the tail of the rocket into his mouth, and then blew it into the wall to light up the hole. He gasped and shouted, "You brats are mocking Uncle for the consequences of sacrificing the light bulb. The remaining fuel in the round belly is full." Uncle Grizzly Bear leads the way, smashing the wall to open the maze sequel. The maze wall squirms like a living stomach squeezing a mountain of meat, the green-skinned Bubble King's rocket-eyed goo-goo resurrects the sinister laughter bubble rain, pop-pop bursting colored needles prick the skin with heat, the rune paste, zizi, sprays purple and black rain and melts the soles of the feet, the heat wave, gulu, with moldy orange poisonous mist steams through the nose and coughs up purple foam. Relatives hugged their heads and jumped higher and higher, and screamed again and again. Bubble King's remnant spirit sells tickets in the maze version. Uncle Bulb is dumbfounded, the expert spells the black hole heart to rekindle, and the whole family is roasted in the abyss for a super long sequel. Funny sideswipes and crashing into walls to clear the way, the antidote to family fun and laughter. His face was covered with purple mist and sticky rainbow stripes, and he wiggled his butt wildly against the wind, pretending to be stupid and shouting, "Brother Bubble King Zanling, the gastrointestinal dance that sells tickets in the maze." The continuation of the uncle's fireworks tail light bulb competition, I was unlucky to lead the dance, and the whole family sang together to compete mirror. Gulu, but slammed into the wall. The rune bubble, pop, bounced back and the green-skinned rocket I shot directly at the uncle's tail. Relatives' round eyes bulged like lampposts, and cousins' bangs poked the air and screamed, "Xiao Yi's imagination is unlucky to be promoted to the king of dance." He stumbled and twisted his butt against the wall to clear the way, and the magical ticket-selling maze imploded. Uncle's lightbulb assist doubled the embarrassment. Sheng Yan's round eyes flashed with warm tears, holding her arms embedded in the blood marks, pulling the whole family to follow, sweating from her ponytail. Zhu trembled and complained, bursting into laughter, "Xiao Yi is clever and invincible." Qingmei's warm hug escorts, Uncle's light bulb is fully turned on, and Bai Ningyin's net is stable, a laughter chorus disintegrates the residual spirit, and the family joy antidote is exposed. The uncle's round belly is swollen, the rocket tail hisses, wildly whips the wall, self-explodes to chain lighting, red eyes protrude with grey beard shavings. Fei blinked aggrievedly, growled and then growled, "You little bunny, Xiao Yi, turned your uncle's light bulb into a broken spirit. A grizzly bear's round belly steals the spotlight, and your uncle's arrogance fuels his stomach." Jiang Chen scratched the app with his fingers stiffly, and the buzz flashed red, his glasses were crooked, his face flushed and he screamed excitedly. The Black History spell combo hit the wall and opened road. Experts predict that the maze marbles will turn into a family lantern festival, and Brother Zhao's Dance King proves the Abyss version. Bai Ningyin's bangs danced with her fingers, and the silver net sizzled to wrap the passage steadily, and the cold silver fragrance pressed against the putrid current and crushed the bubble rain. The residual spirit of the Bubble King, the green-skinned rocket, has a sinister smile on his face, and his face is cramped and swollen again. The rune bubble, Gugu, melts into the wall and becomes a giant intestinal wall boss. His 20-meter swollen body squeezes the maze, boom, and sprays explosive rain of laser beads. The gulu of the fog is like sulfuric acid oranges burning wires, scalding the lungs and coughing up blood foam. The smell of caramel in the nasal cavity creeps into the brain, and thunders in despair. The labyrinth fueled by arrogance will circle forever. Uncle Light Bulb Grizzly Terrier King merges with my residual spirit. Family fun ticket sales failed. Abyss grinding meat core, continue to play. The fusion bombing of disasters from the sky, the colorful bead turntable accelerated and hit the stone wall with a pop, the lava fruity river, Golu, fountain burned the bones, the relatives screamed and hugged the uncle's round belly and stacked the arhat higher, and the snot, tears, and fire particles became a rainbow paste. Remnant Spirit be the OSS sells tickets for, the sequel of the whole family's stomach roast, the whole family's light bulb. The uncle's target lamp king has been upgraded, and the party's own nuclear bomb explodes inside the box office. The intestinal wall squirms and squeezes the reality, and the tongue of fire, pops, bursts out of the window glass, and the molten droplets sizzle and burn the edges of the body. Xiao Yi's mind was spinning to the limit, with rainbow stripes all over his body. He twisted his but, Golu. Unluckily, he stumbled over the rocket eye pit and rolled forward. He pretended to be stupid and shouted, "Brother Zanling, Uncle, the king of round belly dance." The Abyss stomach exploded at the Lantern Festival. I tripped and led the dance to steal the spotlight for the whole family. The butt twisted wildly and bounced off the laser beads, ding, directly shooting at the tail of the rocket of the remnant spirit. Hissing, self-flagellation and popping, the colorful flames exploded in the intestinal wall. The green-skinned eyes were round and cramped, and the duck's voice was shrill. Unlucky boy tripped into the lantern dance. Explosive rain punishment lock. The relatives' round eyes were bloodshot, and the fat uncle blinked red eyes and was shocked. Xiao Yi's magical skill of tripping guided him to fuck. Uncle Bulb is so happy to see it, and the ticket sales are embarrassing and imploding. Shengyan's ponytail danced, her eyes were full of joy, and she hugged her arms and directed, "The complaints about the green-skinned drunkard are dark, and Uncle Bulb is more cute and rounder." The whole family broke down in laughter. Chi Chi roared in the chorus of the King of Gangsters, "Uncle Grizzly Bear sells tickets for eternity, and his residual soul is as big as a drunkard in the abyss." The wave of laughter, haha, is like the sound wave exploding the rune bubbles, papa, the intestinal wall twitches and the green skin trembles and roars regret, family joy, the antidote to the truth. Arrogance burns away weaknesses. Lu Ting's round belly drama has a trembling gray beard and sheds red eyes with warm tears. He hugs a cute bear and cuckoos. The rocket tail is fully opened and hisses, lighting rushes in front of the residual soul's belly. Boom, hits the rocket eyes. The pyrotechnics explode in the belly and pops. Rainbow flames drill into the heart. Pumping and exploding rune pulp. Gulu, gasping and roaring, Uncle Bulb is proud to offer it again. The round belly nuclear lamp hits the residual spirit of the abyss, you guys are watching the ending of your uncle's warm daddy. The green-skinned spirit of the residual spirit's round eyes cracked and its rocket tail was unable to whip itself, and growled in despair, "Uncle sacrificed, the key light hit?" The maze collapsed. Jiang Chen screamed excitedly as he moved his fingers wildly. The black history spell backfired and exploded in combo. The white condensed silver net expanded wildly, sucking in the laughter of Uncle Qingmei and his family, and the giant silver rainbow light arrow shot into the heart with a boom. The exploding green skin crumbs pop out of the shrinking ball, and the sinister smile collapses and screams, joyful resonance, the curse is completely resolved. The intestinal wall pops, cracks and the golden light channel is reshaped and leads directly to the exit. The rancid smell is diluted into the fruity aroma of popcorn, and the nasal cavity is filled with refreshing laughter. Relatives, panting and round-eyed, laughed and hugged arhats warmly, piercing the air to worship and scream. Xiao Yi's brainhole dance king stumbles upon the god. Uncle Boldenwan dad's nuclear lamp pierces the heart. Shengyan complains about the antidote of the queen's chorus. Bai Ningyin's network resonates with the dark horse. Jiang Chen's black history curse backfires. The true meaning of family joy, the nuclear explosion of the residual soul, the party maze oolong legendary box office god. Shengyan hugged Xiao Yi to death and burst into tears. Laughter broke out, invincible in resourcefulness. Qingmei will be remembered forever. The uncle with a round belly and a flat bulb rubbed his gray beard and winked coquettishly. Uncle Grizzly Bear lowered his head and felt so happy. The ticket sales lantern festival will be passed down forever. Jiang Chen blushed and excited. Experts prove the abyss lantern version. Bai Ning whispered, "It's over, the true meaning of the game." The golden light at the exit buzzed and the cool breeze blew out. Everyone sprinted and laughed, but the alarm bell went off. The residual fireworks wave, bangs, and rains of rockets and laser beads pour from the dome to chase the souls. The heat wave rekindles the putrid Golu swallowing the edge of the channel, and the Roshan screams repeat, the sequel to the last wave of ticket sales. Escape from the pre-nuclear explosion family show. The golden light door buzzed like a giant beast spewing cool, fruity popcorn mist from its mouth, pouring directly into the lungs to dilute the putrid heat wave poured out by the bang of the remaining fireworks in the dome. The rocket rain laser beads dinged and buzzed like a swarm of bees locking on the tail of the meat mountain chasing the soul. The orange lava beads scalded the air with a crack, and the smell of caramel pits ran through the nose. The relatives' round eyes were bulging with bloodshot eyes, and the arhat screamed even higher. Lien, the final wave of ticket sales is a sequel to the nuclear explosion of the family show. The round belly of the uncle's bulb has just deflated, and it has turned into an abyss and tsunami to roast the internal box office of the whole family. It broke out of the edge and exploded, and the party's oolong will forever be black history. Sweat, snot, tears, and fire flakes turned into a rainbow paste and swung his face. He crushed the colored powder and ice slag with the soles of his feet and rushed forward. However, he was hit by the rocket's tail whip and bounced off the wall. The legs were twitching and fell to the ground. Shengyan fluttered her ponytail and sweat dropped like rain, hitting the ground with a papa. Her round eyes were filled with tears of joy and fear, and she hugged Xiao Yi tightly. Her arm was embedded in the blood stains and was stinging warmly. Her nostrils were quivering to sniff the popcorn, which turned into sulfuric acid orange and burnt wires. She trembled and commanded on the verge of collapse. The whole family has a tacit understanding and folded the lampposts to speed up. The golden light door rushed straight, Uncle's round-belly lightbulb stopped blowing up to sell tickets, and the white silver net protected his tail. The real sea of fire and molten rain, sizzling, hot the flesh continues. Qingmei Wan hugs and laughs to break up the final wave. She pulled the whole family's meat mountain with her round fingers, and her ponytail flicked out with teardrops, reflecting the red light of the rocket rain, but the sole of her foot slipped and hit her uncle's round belly. The relatives laughed loudly. Queen Sheng commanded the family lantern festival to sell tickets. Qingmei Wan hugged and turned to assist. Lu Ting's round belly bulb was half deflated. He rubbed his gray beard and his red eyes were protruding with bloodshot eyes and blinked warm tears of grievance. He hugged a cute bear and stuffed his mouth into his mouth. The rocket tail hissed, and the remaining flames illuminated the air wildly. Puff! A small explosion of orange light reflected the dome's firework tsunami. Gulu Gulu was like a living stomach, and he gasped and growled, then screamed, "You guys are laughing at your uncle, the light bulb." Since the big round belly has all the fuel remaining, the tsunami sequel is selling tickets, and the round belly nuclear light shines again. Ming leads the way, but the rocket rain locks uncle's tail, and the warm father grinds the meat to make a black history. The gray beard shook off the ash and flew away, the round belly trembled and sucked the remaining flames, swollen and cracked, and the rocket tail pulled out of the wall and exploded into a small hole. It was bright, but the laser bead detonated and hit his navel directly with a ding, burning a black pit and sizzling with white smoke. The pain made his round eyes pop and his voice shrill, "Ouch!" The weakness of the uncle's light bulb was exposed. Tsunami drunk Bubble King's revenge. Jiang Chen's glasses were crooked, his fingers were trembling, his face was red and excited, he was screaming with envy and hugging the app scrap, buzzing, and flashing the green rune bubbles wildly. He squeezed the front-loading expert and shouted, "Black History Expert's last wave of magical skills. Rune projection sonic counterattack spell, Abyss firework tsunami family meme song returns, Bubble King Scrap will always remember the lantern show to sell tickets." Fingers messed up. The Zhuan app, ding, mistakenly sprayed a green-skinned rocket tuning fork rune, hissing, into the dome, but the black history amplified the tsunami energy, boom, twisting the rocket rain into a huge wave of gut wall, gulu, squeezing the channel, the laser bead turntable accelerated, ding ding, hitting the head, pop, the lava orange putrid mist, gulu, steamed directly into the nasal cavity and coughed up purple-black blood foam. Relatives said, "Ah. RMES, basis, the mouse tumbled higher, their noses burst with rainbow sticky threads and their faces screamed, "Expert bunny, black history amplifies the tsunami." My uncle, the light bulb grizzly bear stalker Wang, just finished warming his dad, and changed to the bottom of the tuning fork meat grinder. The party has a box office explosion and the sequel will be continued. The white silver bangs danced low, her fingers flicked the silver silk threads and hissed, and weaved a net to wrap up the tail of the rocket rain. The cold current rushed through the bone marrow and pressed against the heat wave to accelerate her heartbeat. She twitched the corner of her mouth and whispered, "The remnant, resonance, the barrier is unlocked." The silver net buzzed, expanded to absorb the orange flame of the laser beads, and turned into a silvery and refreshing fragrance to dilute the mist. The relatives were round-eyed, relieved, shocked, and poked her uncle's belly and screamed, "The white silver net is a dark horse god." Uncle's light bulb explodes and illuminates the sea. Howling drunkards turned into family fireworks. But the bang of fireworks in the dome was as low as the sky, the green-skinned debris in the hot and rancid waves rekindled the cuckoo, the intestinal wall squirmed and squeezed the edge of the golden light door, and the cracks expanded, and the low thunder roar echoed, "The arrogant fuel tsunami will melt into the debris," the family fun ticket sales failed, the Abyss nuclear bomb roasted the whole family lantern party. Xiao Yi's rainbow-striped body is covered with bubbling sweat and purple mist. His mind is buzzing to the limit, and the alarm bells are ringing. Psychological game to win, the final wave of selling tickets, tsunami. The funny side hits the resonance of the whole family, and the family meme song collapses. He was unlucky enough to roll ahead of Gulu in the ice pit, his face covered with purple mist and sticky. He twisted his butt against the wind and pretended to be stupid, shouting, "Brother Remnant, Tsunami is selling tickets for the gastrointestinal lantern dance continuation." Uncle Bulb's round belly led the singing of the family comedy song, and the whole family sang together to steal the spotlight. I tripped the pit dance king to open the sound wave, the antidote for laughter is exposed. The butt, Gulu, slams into the rune bubble on the channel wall, pop, bounces off the green-skinned rocket tuning fork, hisses, and hits the dome with a tsunami, boom, twists the wave head and explodes with colorful flames, and the intestinal wall cracks, caw-caw, and the fruity smell of popcorn spurts out. Relatives' round eyes bulged together like lampposts, and my cousin's bangs poked the air and screamed and trembled. Xiao Yi imagined the unlucky king of dance to the ultimate upgrade. He stumbled and twisted his butt against the wall to activate the sound waves. His magical skills sold tickets and the tsunami imploded. Uncle's lightbulb assist doubled the embarrassment and the whole family burst into laughter. Shengyan's round eyes flashed with warm tears and she hugged her arms with deep marks and blood. Sila's whole family followed, shaking her ponytail with sweat beads and quivering, and burst into laughter. Xiao Yi is clever and invincible. Qingmei warmly hugs and escorts. Uncle's light bulb grizzly bear fully opens the tuning fork. White condensed silver net is stable. The chorus of stem songs disintegrates the tsunami. The true meaning of family joy explodes. The uncle's round belly is swollen. The rocket tail hisses and whips the wall. Self-destruction chain lighting, red eyes protruding, gray beard shavings flying. He blinked in grievance and then roared loudly, "Brother Xiao Yi!" The light bulb turned into a tsunami. The grizzly bear's round belly leader sang the magic. The uncle's arrogance fueled the sound waves to smash into the abyss. He opened his thick throat, and the arrogant leader sang in a high-pitched, drawn-out voice, "Uncle Grizzly Bear Lightbulb King selling tickets forever. Round belly nuclear lamp warms dad's presentation. Tsunami drunkards rotten belly ha ha ha." The wrong tune, quack, was like an old hen laying eggs, and the relatives laughed and burst into rainbows. Uncle leads the singing of Black history and is hilarious. The duck-voiced lightbulb joke king is upgraded. Tsunami laughs and cramps in embarrassment. Jiang Chen scratched the app with stiff fingers and the word buzz flashed red. His glasses were crooked and his face turned red and he screamed excitedly, "Black history spells sonic combo amplification." Experts predict tsunami will turn into family fireworks. Brother Xiao Dance King proves the abyss version. The rune projection is fully turned on. He scratched the green skin randomly. The tuning fork runes, ding ding, burst out wildly. The amplified uncle's mis-tuned song turned into a sonic wave, bang, and hit the dome. The rocket rain laser beads, pop, shattered into confetti fireworks. The rancid mist diluted the sweet orange fragrance of popcorn and penetrated the nose. The heat wave turned to cool wind and the meat mountain fell apart and laughed. Relatives, with round eyes and relieved smiles, hugged and poked the air in admiration. Expert Zhang's Black history is a god assist. The lead singer in the wrong tune exploded with sonic waves. My uncle sold tickets and fireworks in his duck voice, and the tsunami debris will always be remembered at the family lantern party. The white condensed silver bangs danced with her fingers, and the silver net hissed and wrapped the channel into a magic barrier. The cold silver light current rushed around and crushed the residual waves. She whispered and twitched the corners of her mouth, resonance, barrier, the true meaning of fireworks. The silver net buzzed and expanded to absorb the Uncle Yen Jiang Chen's tuning fork. Pop-up balloons screamed, family gag song, antidote for duck throat. Arrogance burns away weaknesses, tsunami collapses. The dome wall snaps, cracks and the golden light channel is extremely reshaped, leading directly to the reality exit. Cool wind blows wildly, the logic of fireworks and tsunami collapses into a gorgeous rain of fireworks, pop pop ding ding, filling the passage. Orange and silver iridescent beads explode and fruity popcorn mist is like a fireworks show, burning the nose and refreshing laughter echoes. Everyone was out of breath, round-eyed, bursting with tears, smiling and hugging each other, stepping on the fireworks and confetti with their soles, and running forward to the golden door, which opened with a buzz. The relatives screamed, laughed, and worshipped. Xiao Yi, the brain-hole dance king, stumbles upon the sound wave god. Uncle. The duck-voiced lightbulb warm dad leads the hilarious nuclear explosion. Shengyan complains about the queen's chorus conductor. Bai Ningyan's silver screen shields the dark horse's resonance. Jiang Chen's black historical tuning fork amplifies the combo. The true meaning of the family comedy song. The fireworks collapse, the tsunami, and the party goes awry. The legend of the Lantern Festival will live forever at the box office. Shengyan hugged Xiao Yi and burst into tears with tears in her eyes. Invincible Qingmei will always remember the victory in the black market. The round-bellied bulb rubbed his gray beard and winked coquettishly and hugged the cute bear and cooed, Uncle Grizzly Bear the duck's voice lowered its head, and it was so exciting that the ticket-selling fireworks and lantern festival will be passed down to the whole family forever. Jiang Chen blushed and shook his eyes with excitement. Experts prove that the tsunami fireworks version is a black history god. Bai Ning whispered with her silver bangs slightly raised, "It's over, the game fireworks." The gate of golden light engulfed the mountain of meat, and Poola spewed out the reality of the mansion. At night, the living room was brightly lit, but the remaining embers of the sea of fire sizzled. White smoke exploded on the window panes. Molten droplets rained and solidified into pits of colored wax. Tables and chairs were crooked. Fireworks and confetti covered the floor. Fruity popcorn mist filled the nose with sweet orange and silver. Relatives fell to the floor and rolled around, panting and staring at each other in laughter. "Hug, I'm out of my mind." The real party turned into a firework party. Uncle Wang Yongchuan with a duck voice and Xiao Yi, the dance king, became a hit at the box office. The neighbor outside the window poked his head with round eyes and trembled and screamed, "The Xiao family's magic fireworks explosion." The mansion's fireworks nuclear explosion show. Uncle Grizzly Bear sells tickets and the lantern show is live broadcast. The party legend is hotly discussed in the city. Xiao Yi rubbed the rainbow stripes all over his body and was covered with sticky sweat beads. The aftertaste of his mind was buzzing. The alarm bell subsided and he fell to the ground laughing. Shengyan's ponytail was soft and she was holding her arms as she was about to die. The embedded marks were so warm that her heart hurt. Her round eyes were filled with tears of joy, her nose was quivering and she smelled the fruity fragrance and whispered, "Black market props, the abyss is all over, and the green plum escort will always be remembered as the clever dance king." My uncle's round belly rubbed his gray beard and his red eyes blinked in frustration and turned proud, hugged the cute bear and stuffed the tail of the rocket into his mouth. The orange light exploded. "You bastards, Uncle is arrogant and warm. Dad made a sacrifice, and his status was upgraded to the elder king of the family." The ticket sales and fireworks were passed down forever, and the party treasure, the fragments of the dream crystal ball, were turned into colorful bead amulets, and the whole family shared the spoils and became famous. He grabbed a handful of silver on the ground with his rough hands. The iridescent beads made a ding sound, and the relatives, with their round eyes bulging, rushed to poke the air and worship, "Uncle, the elder king of the grizzly bear." The colorful bead talisman prevents the dark history. Xiao Yi shows off the props and turns them into legendary treasures, and the party status is top-notch for the whole family. Jiang Chen hugged the scraps of the app and flashed the green runes. His glasses were crooked and his fingers were trembling red. He screamed excitedly, "The black history expert harvests the gods." The rune projection is dismantled and the rest is broken. The app is upgraded to the Abyss Fireworks version. The status expert advisor is locked. He swiped in the air and projected the quack sound of his uncle's duck-voiced song MV. His relatives laughed and burst into tears. Expert Zhang's MV exploded at the box office, and the party's black history turned golden history. Bai Ning's silver bangs flashed with her fingers, and the lingering sound of cold current passed through her mouth and whispered, "The fragments, the talisman, the resonance will last forever." Her silver net wrapped around the wrists of the whole family buzzed, and the relatives smiled with tears in their eyes and worshipped, Bai Ning's mysterious cousin Black Horse. The silver ring protects against tsunamis, the status of the magic queen is revealed, and the whole family shares the treasures of the party. Conductor Shengyan burst into laughter with round eyes and directed Roshan to clean up the mess, shaking his ponytail with beads of sweat, taking care of the trivial matters. Watering the embers of the sea of fire, blowing out the windows and selling wax to sell souvenirs, the table and chair fireworks party continues. The uncle leads the whole family in a chorus with a duck voice, and is famous the sequel to the legendary, "Don't Ring the Alarm Bell." Relatives, Nguan stacked stools and poked at the colorful pit, laughed with snot and tears sticky with rainbow paste. Uncle's round-belly bulb arrogantly rubbed his gray beard and acted coquettishly. Uncle Nguan's father is in the top position, and the bastards worship the lamp. Elder. Xiao Yi was thinking hard and laughed. He was covered in rainbow stripes and was unlucky to trip over the table leg. His relatives all shouted in admiration, "Xiao Yi is the king of dance and the protagonist. The party has made a huge profit, and the whole city is famous for its fireworks." Broadcast, but in the aftermath of the real-life mansion in flames, neighbors are hotly discussing how to end the scene. The siren is approaching faintly, the mist of fireworks fills the night sky like magical fireworks that will never go out, and the alarm bell rings slightly at the end of the legendary party. As the lights in the living room flickered, the charred tables and chairs sizzled and emitted white smoke like a living snake spitting out messages, the pits of molten-colored wax cracked with silver rainbow cracks, and the fireworks and confetti were slippery all over the floor, and fruity popcorn popped when stepped on. The flour mist went straight into the nose, and the sweet orange and silvery liquid mixed with the rotten smell of burnt wood. The neighbors outside the window had round eyes with bulging bloodshot eyes, and they all poked the window glass with a dong-dong sound, and the screams were like a tsunami superimposed. The Xiao family mansion has a nuclear explosion. Fireworks show. The Uncle Grizzly Bear sells tickets and the Lightbulb King broadcasts the whole city. The police siren is approaching and the black history of the party is exposed. The little boy Xiao Yi shows off his props and overturns the whole family and goes to jail. The siren roars from far to near and fills the night sky. The red and blue flashes sweep into the living room and shine on the pale faces of relatives. Sweat beads are shaking on the face, and the snot and tears become a rainbow paste and explode on the wall. Relatives' round eyes bulged together and became a mountain of meat. The cousin's bangs trembled and poked her uncle's round belly. The light bulb sunk in and screamed, "Uncle just finished selling tickets with his duck voice to warn my dad, but he turned into a police siren and minced meat to make it a black history." Xiao Yi, the imaginary dance king, stumbled and was imprisoned for his magic skills. Protagonist, the party made a mistake and the whole city laughed at the box office. Uncle Lu Ting turned around with a flat belly, rubbed his gray beard, and his red eyes bulged and blinked warm tears of grievance. He hugged the cute bear and stuffed it into his mouth with the remaining flames of the rocket tail. Pfft! The orange light illuminated the scorched pit in the living room. Pointed and elongated, the bastards are mocking Uncle for bowing his head with the light bulb. The self-confident round belly has all the fuel left. Siren Tsunami Uncle Grizzly Bear Target King is selling tickets again, but the embers of the mansion's sea of fire are exposed, and the bottom position of Nwan Dad's minced meat collapses. The gray beard shakes off the ash, and the circle the stomach drama trembled as it sucked in the confetti, swollen and cracked, but the soles of the fireworks pit slipped and Gulu tripped and pressed on the table leg. Xiao Yi's rainbow stripes faded away, and he felt so happy. He was covered in sweat and purple mist, laughing and panting. The traces of his warm embrace on Shengyan's arm stung and warmed his heart. He thought to himself, the climax reversed the outcome of the whole family's misfortune, and the uncle's arrogance will be passed down forever, but, the alarm bell rings again. The dream reshaped the golden light and reflected reality. The fire spread outside the window of the mansion and exploded the beams. The rain of molten glass burned the body and coughed up blood. Roshan screamed again, "Escape!" A sequel to the real sea of fire that engulfed the house. Jiang Chen's glasses were crooked, his fingers were trembling, his face was red and panicked, he screamed with envy and hugged the app scrap and buzzed and flashed the green rune bubbles wildly. He squeezed the front-loading expert and roared, "Black History Expert Siren Wave Magic Skill. Rune Projection Sound Wave Counterspell, Abyss Firework Tsunami Family Meme Song Siren Version, Bubble King Scrap will always remember the Lantern Club will go to jail." Finger scratches randomly. The residual app, ding, mistakenly sprayed a green-skinned rocket tuning fork rune, hissing, into the ceiling, but the black history amplified the energy of the siren, boom, and twisted the red and blue light into a huge wave of gasoline mist, Gulu, squeezing the living room. The molten wax turntable accelerated, ding ding, and hit the head, pop, the rotten wood mist, Gulu, steamed directly into the nasal cavity and coughed up purple-black blood foam. Relatives, talking and nor eyes sex running rolls, arhats rolling higher, snot bursting rainbow sticky silk face screaming, expert bunny black history siren amplified. Uncle light bulb grizzly bear stalker Wong just finished warming dad, and tuning fork meat grinder bottom. Party oolong box office sequel. The white silver bangs danced low, her fingers flicked the silver silk and hissed, and weaved a net to wrap around the tail of the colorful pit rocket. The cold current rushed through the bone marrow and pressed against the heat wave to accelerate her heartbeat. She twitched the corner of her mouth and whispered, "The remnant, resonance, the barrier unlocks the siren." The silver net buzzed, expanded and sucked in the orange flames, turning the cool silver fragrance to dilute the mist. The relatives were round-eyed, relieved, shocked, and poked her uncle's belly and screamed, "The black horse god with white silver ring." Uncle's light bulb burst. Illumination, the siren is turned into a family fireworks. But the siren outside the window is as low as the sky, the hot wave of gasoline is filled with red and blue debris, and the sinister coup is resurrected. The wall squirms and squeezes the edge of the wax pit, and the cracks expand, and the low thunder roar echoes, the arrogant fuel siren will always circle. The grisly stalk of the uncle will melt into the debris, the family fun ticket sales failed, and the whole family lantern festival ended with a nuclear bomb. Xiao Yi's rainbow-striped body is covered with bubbling sweat and purple mist. His mind is buzzing to the limit. The alarm bell is ringing. The psychological game is won. Continued, the siren sells tickets for a tsunami. The funny side resonates with the whole family, and the aftermath of the collapse of the family meme song. Unluckily, he tripped over the table leg and rolled forward, his face covered with purple mist and sticky. He wiggled his butt in the wind and pretended to be stupid, shouting, "Brother Remnant, siren sells tickets for the gastrointestinal lantern dance continuation." Uncle Bulb's round belly led the family singing song, and the whole family sang together to steal the spotlight. I stumbled into the pit dance. Wong turned on the sound wave, and the prop self-destructed in a hilarious antidote. Gulu slammed into the burnt tables and chairs. The rune bubble, pop, bounced off the green-skinned rocket tuning fork, hissed, and shot straight to the ceiling, and, boom, the distorted siren wave self-exploded and illuminated with colorful flames. The cracked, click, popcorn opened small slits, and the fruity aroma of the popcorn is stronger. The colorful wax pit buzzes, and is reshaped into a gorgeous string of colorful lights. Ding ding, automatically lights up the living room like a magic paradise. The burnt tables and chairs, pop, transform into silver rainbow lampposts and spray out family memories in a fireworks show. Uncle Grizzly Bear leads the dance with a duck voice in a wrong tune, Xiao Yi stumbles and twists his but with imaginative skills, Shengyan sways her ponytail and sweats to command the queen, the whole family laughs and laughs, the image of the arhat disintegrating the tsunami, puff echoes in the air, and the orange and silver fruity mist sprays wildly and soothes the nasal cavity. Relatives' round eyes bulged like lampposts higher, and my cousin's bangs poked the air and screamed with a trembling voice, "Xiao Yi's imagination is unlucky, the ultimate sequel to King of Dance is upgraded." He tripped over the table leg, twisted his butt and hit the table to activate the sound wave, the magical ticket-selling siren imploded and self-destructed, and the uncle's lightbulb assist doubled the embarrassment. The whole family burst into laughter and went to the paradise. Shengyan's round eyes flashed with warm tears and she hugged her arms with deep marks. He added blood to pull the whole family to follow, and shook his sweat with his ponytail and complained, "Xiao Yi is smart and funny and invincible." Qingmei warmly hugs and escorts, Uncle's lightbulb Grizzly Bear fully opens the tuning fork, white condensed silver ring is stable, the chorus of hysterical songs disintegrates the siren, the true meaning of family joy explodes the paradise party. The uncle's round belly is swollen and the rocket tail hisses, crazy whip table self-destruction chain photo bright lights, red eyes protruding and gray beard flying, he blinked in grievance and turned to a proud roar with a smile, "Brother Xiaoyikan," the lightbulb turned into a siren. The grizzly bear's round belly leader sang the magic, the uncle's arrogance fueled the sound waves to smash the aftermath, the interesting stories of the fireworks king will be passed down to the elders. He opened his thick throat again, and the arrogant leader sang in a high-pitched and drawn-out voice, "Uncle the Fireworks King, funny stories about light bulbs selling tickets forever. The round-belly nuclear lamp warms Dad's presentation. The siren is so rotten that the drunkard has a rotten belly, ha ha ha. The wrong tune, quack, is like an old hen laying an egg, and the relatives cover their bellies and laugh, snort and burst into rainbow lights. Uncle, the King of Fireworks, has a hilarious upgrade. The duck-throated light bulb is the king of funny stories, and the siren laughs sinisterly and cramps, embarrassingly imploding the paradise." Jiang Chen's fingers stiffened as he scratched the app. The buzz flashed from red to green, and his glasses were crooked, his face flushed, and he screamed excitedly, "The Black History spell sonic combo amplifies the god. Experts predict that sirens will turn into a family fireworks paradise. Brother Zhao's Dance King proves that the Abyss STEM version seal expert, rune projection fully open MV upgrade." He scratched the green tuning fork runes, ding, ding, sprayed wildly, amplifying the uncle's mis-tuned song into a huge sonic wave, boom, that backfired on the siren. The red and blue lights shattered into confetti, fireworks and fireworks show performed automatically, the family memory picture, pop. Sprayed orange and silver iridescent beads exploding, fruity popcorn mist like eternal fireworks burning the nose, and refreshing laughter echoed. The sirens, woo-woo, faded away and turned into a cheering whistle. Relatives rounded their eyes and smiled with tears in their eyes, hugging and lighting up the lanterns in worship. Jiang is black and the god of history has blocked him. Wrong tune leads the sonic bombing paradise. My uncle's duck-voiced fireworks king's fun MV is golden history, and the party status expert consultant will always be the top. The white silver bangs danced with her fingers, and the whole silver net hissed and wrapped the living room into a magical barrier paradise. The cold silver light current rushed through her body and crushed the residual siren wave. She whispered with the corner of her mouth slightly raised and twitched and complained about eternity, resonance. Paradise, the true meaning of fireworks lasts forever. The interesting story of Uncle Fireworks is a dark horse. Arrow Eyes laughs sinisterly and collapses. Bo pops up a shrinking ball and screams forever. Family gag song, antidote for duck throat. Arrogance burns all weaknesses, and the siren destroys the paradise. The fragments of the dream crystal ball flashed on the ground and self-destructed into colored bead talismans scattered around the wrists of the whole family. The crowd was panting, round-eyed, bursting with tears, laughing and hugging each other, and they were slipping and carnivaling on the lanterns and fireworks with the soles of their feet. The relatives screamed and laughed and worshipped. Xiao Yi, the brain dance king, stumbles and the sound wave god continues. My uncle, the duck-voiced pyrotechnic king Muan Dad, leads the singing of hilarious nuclear explosions, and Shengyan complains about the queen's chorus conductor. The white condensed silver ring shields the dark horse and resonates eternally. Jiang Chen's black historical tuning fork amplifies the combo seal expert, the true meaning of the family song. The fireworks disintegrate the siren, and the party oolong lantern festival paradise's legendary box office is immortal. Shengyan hugged Xiao Yi and burst into tears. Her round eyes were warm and red, her nose fluttered, and she smelled the fruity fragrance of the paradise. Long praised, invincible Qingmei Shengyan black market abyss paradise wins. Xiao Yi grows from the unlucky novice dance king to the protagonist king. The alarm bells calm down and the eternal escort. The uncle has a round belly, a flat bulb, rubs his gray beard, and his red eyes blink proudly and coquettishly hugs the cute bear and coos. Uncle's Fireworks King's interesting story is bowed down and exciting, selling tickets to the paradise. The Lantern Festival will always be the best among the whole family. Jiang Chen's blushing and excited glasses re-glued. The MV Gaga echoed, expert Black History Function Paradise Edition, status consultant locks up the box office. Bai Ning whispered with silver bangs and flicked the silver ring with her fingers, it's over. Game Paradise, complaining forever. The Magic Fireworks Paradise party in the living room has been upgraded, with lights, tables and chairs spraying, ding-ding, jets to reminisce about the fireworks show, and the uncle's grizzly bear light bulbs automatically cycle through the pit. Neighbors outside the window bulged their eyes in admiration and screamed and trembled. the nuclear explosion show at the Xiao family magic fireworks park is live broadcast. The funny story about my uncle's fireworks king's duck voice is hotly discussed in the city, and the party legend has become popular. Suddenly, there was a bang at the door, and golden light and mist sprayed thinly. The black market owner, with a fat waist, a grey robe and a protruding belly, opened the door in shock and trembled with surprise and trembling. The handheld compensation gift box dinged with silver iridescent beads stacked on top of each other. His nostrils were quivering as he sniffed the mist of the paradise. He growled an apology, "You bastard Xiao Yi's props made an oolong summon to me, the black market abyss demon king's crumbs. The king of bubbles is resurrected. The self-destruction curse of the fireworks crystal ball is forever solved. The fireworks show in the family paradise is accidentally broadcast on my dark history. The compensation gift is to upgrade the dream talisman set to prevent the family lantern party forever." His grey robe shook off the ash, and his round belly shook. The box was dented by the uncle, and the relatives, with round eyes and bulging eyes, rushed to poke the air and worship and scream. The black market boss unexpectedly invited the god of apology. My uncle, the king of fireworks, received the gift from the elders, and Xiao Yi's status as the king of dance became famous throughout the city. The party's own compensation gift doubled and became legendary. The uncle grabbed the gift box with his thick hands and rubbed it with arrogance. He laughed loudly and said, "The fat waist in the black market recognizes uncle as the king of fireworks. Interesting facts about selling tickets and the gift box will be passed down forever. The bastards worship Muan Daddy, the king of the universe." Shengyan shook her ponytail and directed her to laugh and hug Xiao Yi. Boss apologizes to paradise continues, Qingmei complains and takes a group photo for eternity. Bai Ningyin's bangs danced and whispered, "Resonance, compensation, the game is sustainable." Jiang Chen's app projected the MV with the boss's grey robe and the protruding belly, buzzing, "The black history expert harvests the universe." The MV box office is linked to the black market. Xiao Yi's mind buzzed with laughter. The rainbow bubbled, and the warning bell of growth turned into confidence. Gulu rolled up and stood up and shouted, "Family photo." The Oolong Party Magic Fireworks Park will never forget the funny legend. The protagonist of King of Dance has grown up. Thank you all. I will show off the black market props next time, and the fireworks sequel will be a box office hit. Relatives gathered warmly and cheered. The hugs are stacked into giant lampposts. The puff, puff, ding, 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 lanterns and fireworks show jets freeze in the night sky for a group photo. The fruity-scented mist fills the city with laughter and echoes. The sirens go away and neighbors cheer and poke the windows. The carnival in the mansion paradise is endless. The family lantern show is a legendary perfect reunion. And readers laugh and satisfy their imaginations forever. Shengyan fluttered her ponytail and sweat dropped like rain and hit the ground with a pop. Her round eyes were full of fear and joy, and she hugged Xiao Yi's arm. The blood stains were embedded in the blood, and the pain deepened. Hugging and laughing, she tugged on the front row of the meat mountain, and the soft tail of her ponytail flicked out with red and blue flashes, but the sole of her foot slipped and hit her uncle's round belly. Pfft, the dent was deeper. Her relatives burst into laughter and poked the air further. The Grand Queen commanded the uncle to continue to sell tickets. Qingmei warmly hugged and turned around to assist the Black History.